Well, folks, welcome back to Gotham City Billiard Club. We're coming to you live. The address is 93 Avenue U, right here in Brooklyn, New York. I'm upstate out with AZBTV. We're going to have Snooker and we're going to have Troy, New Jersey pool player, step in the booth shortly. But before you get underway, we just want to make sure that you know the players coming up. The young gun from Spain, Francisco Ruiz, is going to be playing Carlo Biado. They're both killers. We haven't seen the 23-year-old play, but he's been knocking people out like ducks. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this. Before we get underway, let us thank some of the sponsors. Of course, AccuStats is on board, and they're going to bring the U.S. Open to you. Make sure you keep in touch with AccuStats with the hyphen in the middle.com. It's the U.S. Open coming up October 24th through the 30th. AccuStats pay-per-view, I believe the early bird special might end today. I'm not really certain. Check it out, AccuStats.com. Gotham City Technology is on board. Mr. Ron Mason behind the scenes working diligently to keep everything running smooth, not only here but in all the pool rooms, building networks across the world, fixing devices. Ron Mason. Ozone Billiards, ozonebilliards.com. Molinari Glove. We can't mention this enough because it's a product that is flying off the shelves by the cases. It's molinariglove.com plus extensions for your predator cues. Check with molinariglove.com to make sure you have the right fit. Aramith Balls, talk about the right fit. The best balls you can use on a felt, along with the best felt in the world, Simona's cloth. If you want to learn about the rack and how to read the rack, look for the errors when somebody gives you a rack, and learn how to read it so that you know what balls are going to go in what pockets or what balls potentially could go in what pockets. You get in touch with joetucker.net. You join up for $8. You're not going to get that price unless you mention the promo code Upstate Al, and you're going to have save yourself a lot of years of frustration, just like it says there on the flyer. joetucker.net. Get on board. You know, the U.S. Open, after the U.S. Open, which is October 24th through the 30th, we're going to come right back to Steinway. Steinway Billiards. And that's coming up November 1st through the 3rd. It's going to be a pay-per-view. 128 strong coming up from the U.S. Open right to Astoria, Queens, New York. Right now, the field is 104 and counting. Confirmed and played superstars coming back up from Chesapeake, Virginia. Right here in Queens, 3525 Astoria. 3525 Steinway Street in Astoria, Queens, New York. Right now, we're going to set these guys off on their merry way. Carlo Biado versus the young gun out of Spain, Francisco Ruiz. Witness this, guys. 23 years old, cream of the top. He's rising. He wants to snap this off. He didn't travel halfway across the world just to do nothing. He's coming here to play in the U.S. Open. This is like the major warm-up. And here we go for the lag. Wait a minute. We have a special guest in the booth. I got the chills. Lori John, the queen of pool. Hi, Lori John.
Hi. How are you?
All right, very good. Upstate Al in the booth, along with Troy, New Jersey pool player. You guys know each other for 1,000 years.
Absolutely.
I'm not don't want to give my age away, but
I don't know him for 1,000 years.
Yeah,
I'm only,
I do.
I'm only 28.
I got confidence in my ears. Well, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you aboard. This young gun, I don't know if you know Francisco. I don't. You know, there's a lot of new players.
They're so unbelievably disciplined and good today that, you know, it's scary when you come up on someone, especially that you don't know. You got to just assume that they're phenomenal players.
Right, and you're not scared in the least, and you're back on the market again. I just saw you down there. You was at Vivian's tournament there, and you're shooting lights out, doing real good, and we're really happy that you're back on circuit and participating in competition again. Because we miss you.
Thanks.
We miss all the old crew, you know, everybody back then.
It was fun back then.
Yeah, sure was.
It was fun. It was good. It was a good time off, and you know, I don't know how much I'm going to do again, but I do know that I love competing with the men. You know, if I'm going to do something that's going to bring my game up, it's going to be playing with these guys.
Right. And I remember many years ago, and I keep telling everybody, many years ago, you're with Bob many years.
Yes.
Okay, I love Bob. And I remember the stick back then to use. If you didn't have a Mucci, you weren't in the clique.
That's exactly right.
And we used to get them cheaper off of you back then than we did Bob out of West End Billiards.
Don't say
Bob
anything,
already
Bob.
knows. He invited me down to his house. He says, I got a pair of boots for you. All right, you guys take the match. I'm going to leave you in the hands. Snooker is going to get on board with these two guys, and I'll come back in momentarily. Thank you, Laurie, for sitting
Thank
in.
you.
Call it like you see it.
Stand by.
Run away, don't you?
All right, welcome aboard.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to give Al a well-deserved break, and he's going to step away for a second. I'm taking the reins. And what we had was a dry break in case no one mentioned that.
Yeah, that was by Carlo
Yeah.
Biado, and right now we have young Francisco at the table. As Al said before, he shoots lights out. He's been mowing guys down, even with this format.
Well, I've been waiting to see. He's been here the last 2 days now, but I haven't had a chance to really observe him. We've been doing the live stream matches, and he's kind of just been taking care of some of the players in the background, without us giving us a chance to really see what he can do. So I'm excited to see what he's about.
And Laurie John, does that remind you of anyone, some young gun coming into town and taking care of all the girls there?
Yeah, me.
You were the you were the youngest
World champion.
for the women, right? You were
No,
14
in history.
In
Actually,
history.
I took Willie Mosconi's spot.
There you go.
So, it's nice. It's funny what you were saying. I was watching this kid. I actually didn't know Francisco, and I watched him a little bit yesterday. And I was impressed, again, I'm like, wow, who is this kid? And to know that someone's 23,
Yeah.
and you just, they're only going to get better,
Yep.
greater. And
Absolutely.
And they have no fear at
No.
this point. Their eyes are.
they're clueless about hard shots and kick shots.
There is
and
no
things.
hard shots.
No, there is none.
Any shot that they can see is it's ready to go in. But
I enjoy watching the men. Yeah, the differences. Here, just to see what he's going to do, like to get on the 5-ball, or to break the 5-ball up, or
Right,
to
right.
these are the intricate little shots that make the difference between are you going to run out and are you not.
yeah, good and great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of times the great ones they pull moves out of their hat, and you're like, I didn't think of that. Well, that's because you're not great.
Exactly.
Well, he's
So
look-
fill everybody in on what you've been doing, and are you promoting anything right now? And we know you're with Bob, and
Great shot.
Yeah, great shot.
Yeah, actually, I'm still with Bob Mucci, believe it or not. He made me a beautiful new cue.
I seen that at the
Yeah.
Expo.
Yeah, it's just it's stunning. 17 diamonds in it. It's
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I'm still with him, and and I'm still very involved. I've never been not involved in pool. I've been doing like corporate billiard exhibitions for the past 10 years. I'm still very, happy doing those. I have a deal. I can't talk about the two things that might be happening for 2016. but
Oh,
if
good
they-
luck with
if
it.
they-
Whatever it is, if
Boy,
it pans out, that'd be good.
It's all pool, and if it happens, it's just phenomenal.
If it's for pool and
Yeah.
you're involved, it's only going to escalate everybody finding out about a little bit about a pool, and that's
Exactly.
exactly what we need.
It's a
always-
great sport. It's a great sport, and it just needs a little
push,
kick,
a little
kick.
I think in the early 2000s, it took a slow, it was a slow pace when it came to pool and some of the tournaments that were buzzing about happening, but it wasn't quite happening. And so, I saw a lot of good pool, in the late 80s and early 90s happening. And it's nice to see it back again.
Yeah.
And people getting involved and people like this room, the owners, Kevin and Isabel, they're doing such a
Wonderful.
great thing. Just kind of keeping pool alive still.
Great.
And as we go on and reminisce a little bit, Francisco is just taking care of business and puts one up on the bead.
Draws first blood there.
As long as we keep having great players who are young, who are coming up, who are. What was the kid in at the Tornado Open? The young 8 and 9-year-old. They're brothers. They're.
Oh, he's the Chinese kids?
I don't know
Are they
if
from
were,
China?
I don't know if they were from China. The
'Cause
one was playing against Vivian. One was playing against Efren. I have actually a photo of him on my Facebook page, and I forgot the little kid's name. Yeah, but that's anyway. That as long as you have kids, 23-year-olds, just coming up, the game is going to grow.
Right.
Eventually,
It's
just
going to stay alive.
It's going to stay alive. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, and we were discussing that before, and I brought it up to Tony as we were off the air. Tony runs something through the Parks and Recreation of New York City, with them and they created a little tournament within the city, and it's still going on right now. I believe the finals are sometime in November. They're going to have it, and he'll come out with that. It's all the boroughs, and they have little division finals, and then come November there'll be the finals, and these are all young kids within the neighborhood, and that's what we need.
Keep promoting
keep the future of pool.
Nice, beautiful billiard rooms like Gotham City Billiard Club, and wonderful people like Kevin Isbell. It's just going to continue to grow.
Right.
Right. It used to be that you had to do some traveling yourself, even just as a spectator, to go and see some of these big names just battle it out in a big tournament. But when I was younger, I used to have to go to just the U.S. Open. The only time that I would ever really get to see a big tournament that way, and I did so every year to see all these out-of-towners and across the U.S. come in and across the globe, really. But it's nice to see it come here, and it becoming big again.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And Lori,
well, where else but New York, too?
Well, really.
Gazillion people here.
Is there any place but New York?
But for the younger players, and you want to bring your kids and introduce them into the game, and it's not a bad place. They're family atmospheres. Where'd you grow up?
New Jersey.
In a pool room in a family atmosphere, right?
That's
Your dad owned the room.
I grew up on a 5x10 table in our basement, and then a pool room my whole life.
Right, and
and I came out amazingly enough. I came out good. I'm good.
You're still normal.
Yeah, I'm still normal. Look at this kid. He's just right, Francis. He's just running out.
Yeah, as we
makes it
just
look-
chat
Yeah,
along,
we're
he's
ch-
just
Makes it look easy.
We're chatting along, and he's just running through racks. Yeah, and like you said, to get the young people involved, and not to say that you're just going to let them run loose in the pool rooms. They still need guidance and everything, and you're just not going to let your kids out in an unsupervised adult atmosphere anywhere. Doesn't matter whether it's a park, pool room, church, anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Hint, hint.
Right.
So, Lori, what do you think is the turnaround as of these last few years where there's more involvement with the younger players? I mean, I have my ideas as far as what that might be, but I'm just curious to think of what you might think.
I know that the BCA has, it does a lot with the Billiard Education Foundation, which is a great thing. But, years ago, even when my kids were coming up, it was like that, like when they were in that pivotal time. It was not a great time for pool, and I
Right.
told my youngest, who was very talented in pool and very talented in golf, and I'm like, go play golf. And this is me, and
Right.
it's sad that I'm not upset that I did that.
No,
but
of course not.
But it's sad that it wasn't even a question.
Right.
Forget about it. You're great. Go play golf.
Right.
And I wanted him, because he can, today he's got his dad and myself in him, and so
Right.
he doesn't even play. And when he plays me, he can run a rack of 9 ball,
Right.
like nothing,
That's awesome.
And I think I just think that the interest is there. If the if corporate, again, when it died, remember, we had that bad recession. So all the companies, everybody backed out.
That's
And
exactly
there were
what.
no tournaments.
That's exactly my opinion about why that happened.
Oh, it was horrible. There were no tournaments, and the tournaments that were, people were like, well, I'm not going to travel there. There's only, whatever it would be added
Right.
to a major event.
Right.
And I'm thinking, man, I made more money than that in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
So now that it's turning around,
Right.
the
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
are playing
absolutely.
again.
I think the only other thing, the reason why, besides it pulling away and things like that, I mean, that obviously pulled a lot of any sponsorship and things like that. It just kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, I mean, there's also other issues that people saw pool as what they saw in the movies, the smoke-filled pool rooms and the
wonderful things they portray.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that now with the media and the technology that we have now, as far as being able to live stream matching, things like this, people can actually see, guess what? This is, people are getting down and playing a sport here. They're not just lounging around pool rooms and the smoke-filled pool rooms and they have certain aspects of them.
No.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I grew up
nice
into
break.
I grew up
Great break.
into all of that, so I do appreciate that. But there is another side.
We have to bring it into the 21st century
Well,
here.
and they have, and so I think that
In
has
schools.
revived an otherwise less
Well, you have
popular
to-
sport at the time.
You have to understand, you want a parent not to be afraid to have their child come to Gotham City Billiards, let's say,
Right.
or another billiard club, or Steinway, it's in
Like
a
you
few
said.
weeks, or
Right.
you want them to say, oh, go to the pool room, go have fun, go play,
Right.
That type thing.
Right.
Especially maybe when they're teenagers,
Right.
when they can go out by themselves.
Hey, I was better off in a pool room than I was on
Oh
the
my
streets.
gosh, are you
I
kidding
grew
me?
up in the
Yeah.
city too, and
Yeah.
I was, it was either that or the street. I took my chances in the pool room, and I think I did okay too.
I mean, you just, that's how I was raised, so I didn't.
Well, you
I
had
never
a
even-
whole family
Yeah,
atmosphere.
yeah,
You had a little
yeah.
different, You're under your wing was your dad there. You weren't
Yeah.
stepping out of line nowhere.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he kept me in line pretty
Yeah.
good.
Well, I think that's the important thing, that you can let your child, if he has or she has an interest in the sport, you can kind of let them flourish, if you will, in the game. But of course, like with anything, with guidance. So if you kind of just keep your eye on him or her.
Well,
You
it's the
should
same
do
thing.
fine.
It's the same thing if you think about parents. What a great shot!
Wow.
What a great. That was just. See, he really thought about that. He could have gotten maybe a better role, but boy, was that a great shot.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about parents, soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to just let your kids? You're going to just drop them off on the soccer field and say, "See you later"?
No.
No, you're going to support them.
Right.
You're going to support them. My son plays golf. I can't tell you how many countless 18 holes with him, watching him play, supporting him.
Right.
No one, a parent, you don't just drop them off the you support them.
Right.
You support them. You get them lessons. Like if any parents are listening right now, I'd suggest, go get a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Find someone who knows how to teach, and whether it's a professional or just a good coach.
Right.
And have somebody teach your child how to play, how to compete, and that way, they're gonna be able to, not only make the shots but think, because it's more, that it's more than just making balls.
Tony Robles just stepped
Hi,
into the
Tony.
plate, and I think we're getting the gang back. The band's getting back.
Yeah, we have Tony Robles in the booth.
I love you, right? Can you guys hear me?
You're a little low for some
Can you hear
reason.
me?
No,
Let's see what.
check.
Mic check.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah,
there we
now
go.
we do.
Yeah. You're my buddy, right, Troy? I love you, right?
I know that, pal.
All right. So all these years, you still say Tony Robles instead of Tony Robles.
Robles. I got marbles in my mouth.
That's okay. I'll still bring you your lobster tail.
In about 2 minutes, I'm going to say the same.
Don't be talking about those lobster tails.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
She
does
just had
everyone
one. She
know
just had
about
one.
them? Oh my
I
goodness.
gained 10 pounds
my
being at his house.
Ay, ay, ay.
No, and Dave can't lay his hands off of it. He can't keep his hands off of it.
And Tony,
That's
we
all
were
right,
just to
listen,
give you an
he
update.
has
We
to
were
hide the
talking about elevating the game because we have this young player here, Francisco from Spain, at 23 years old, and we're just trying to bring it back to the younger players. And I mentioned that how you had the tournament along with the recreation department, and we were just going through that, and I just wanted to fill you in. With that said, I'm going to step out of the booth for a few minutes, and I'll be
Well,
back.
I mean, what happened is, you know, Diana knows this. I'm pretty sure you know this. I lost a brother at the age of 20. When he was at the age of 25, he was shot to death, shotgun to the throat. And he always lived the street life, you know. And I always avoided the street life because me growing up, and I told Lori John this the other day, I didn't think I belonged in the human race because I was born with a stumped foot, you know. So I just didn't feel like I was a normal person.
Right.
So I always stayed home, kept to myself, whatever. And up until the age of 21, I can honestly tell you I only had like 3 friends in my life,
Right.
you know, in school. And I just felt like I just didn't belong.
Right.
And one day I go to Times Square and I hear this amazing voice and this homeless man with one missing leg and one missing arm singing Happy as a Lark. And I said, man, this guy can't talk and he's happy. I said, I should be ashamed of myself. So, you know, I went ahead and I changed my attitude from that day forth and never looked back. Before you couldn't get me to say 2 words. Now you can't get me to shut up, right? I've been talking since I got. But anyway.
Thank God for the one-legged, one-armed man.
I went back a couple of times to see if I saw him so I can thank him, and I never saw him again.
I told him,
Wow.
I
You
said
know.
he was an angel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
That
was
was
thinking.
sent just for him.
That's right. So, you know, when I joined forces with recently with the New York City Parks Department, I wanted to share my stories with them. And I told them about my story and then told them about the story of my brother. And I felt that if I can help, especially the young kids, learn how to believe in themselves and also avoid having them hang out on the streets by having an outlet by playing pool,
Playing pool.
then if I save just one life, it's totally worth it for me.
That's great.
So
Well,
that's what I
just
did.
imagine that one-armed, one-legged man that basically, we could say, saved your life.
Yeah.
How much effect you and Predator Pro Am Tour and all that you're doing now for everybody, how many people you affected by that one man? So
Yeah.
I tip my hat to you.
No, I appreciate that. I just feel like I got lucky to, believe it or not, I really believe, and I said this in an interview with NBC News. They did a story on me many years ago, and I told them I really believe that me being born with this foot saved my life because given where I grew up, there's no doubt in my life, in my mind that if I would have had just been born with a regular foot, I would have been probably a thug in the street. And everything.
You'd about
I forgot
running.
about it.
Right.
Who knows if I would have been alive? you know?
Wow.
So.
That's impactful, man. Really.
Yeah, so we're going to have a tournament. They're going to have a borough tournament, the New York City Department's Parks Department. They're going to have one for Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and the Bronx.
I told you,
Very
you
good.
showed up to the one.
Yeah.
He showed up to the Parks Department across the street from my house,
Yeah.
and people that I know in there that knows that I play pool and stuff like that, and they've always kind of like talked to me about things going on and some tournaments and things like that.
That's
and then
awesome.
I look on Facebook, I saw him in the same place. I'm like, you're right across the street from my house.
That's awesome. I wish I would have called you if I would have done that.
I
Could have brought you a
know
lobster
that.
tail.
You can always bring me a lobster tail.
Right, you can send me them in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm hoping they're still flaky enough by the time I'll have to do
Oh,
a
they
one-day
will be.
shipping.
It's okay. It's all right.
Laura John, are you playing out of any rooms in South Carolina?
Yeah, actually, there are 2 billiard rooms. The Palace, which is in Greenville, and in Easley, I play at the Rainbow.
Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah. And I like, like downtown. There's a place called Barley's, and it's just nice. It's a nice pool room. It's a restaurant downstairs and like a pool room upstairs. So I do a lot of when I'm doing like filming for anything.
Right.
I always use Barley's because it's just private.
Perfect.
It's nice.
That's awesome.
very very kind of chic.
Well, there's a new room out there, isn't there? They said on the weekends they're having 24 hours, aren't they?
Is that the one they opened in North Carolina?
I think that's North
Yeah.
Carolina.
Well, North Carolina.
All
Yeah,
diamond
that's
tables.
Yeah, all
Carolina.
diamond
Yeah,
tables.
yeah, yeah. That's different.
And from Friday to Sunday, they're 24 hours.
Yeah.
I heard there's quite a bit of action going
There's
on there.
probably is. I mean,
Have you gone up there?
No,
No, okay.
not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, I heard it's beautiful.
I heard you're loaded South Carolina and North Carolina with a lot of folks from up north here also.
Everybody moves there. all of my friends. It's funny.
That's
I'm
what
like,
we think I'm so curious
like,
on
this
what
is
room
my,
do you play
this
at?
This is my best friend. This, this one's from Connecticut. This one's from Philadelphia. This
Wow.
one's from New Jersey. This one's like, no one's from South Carolina. I have one good friend from South Carolina, but she should have been born in New York.
Hardcore, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tells it like it is.
Oh, yeah.
What does that sound like? Me.
And we have a match here as
Ooh.
we
And he
chipper
just jarred.
along, and he missed that ball.
Just
He
jarred
hung it
that
up.
4-ball.
Oh, wow. I
Yep.
thought it went in. I didn't realize it. Wow.
You
Because
know?
he broke the balls and wasn't really going to make anything. And the ball kicked the one ball in, and then it wound up with the two stopped in front of the cube. And he had a nice, decent run out there.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
interesting. This equipment, I love these tables because they're they're tight pockets, but not ridiculous. You know, they're
Right.
not. They're forgiving, but they're not. Like that shot there. You know, if you hit it like if you
Diamond
hit it,
cut.
yeah,
You
it's
hit the
just,
face, it ain't going.
Exactly.
The deep shelf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, yet when you hit it down the rail and you have to like cheat a little bit, it
goes.
takes it. You know.
Especially with pocket speed.
Yeah. And a lot of tables don't take that. Like when you have to cheat the pocket or
Yeah.
something
Oh,
down
yeah.
the rail, it won't take it. And
No.
to me, that's a phony table. It's just
Yeah,
phony.
that's
It's
what you
or
call it.
phony
Yeah,
cut.
like a
Or
gaff table.
phony pockets. That's what
yeah,
they
it's
call it.
just
Wow.
phony pockets. I don't like that.
He hit that shot like $1 million
Man,
bucks.
I know. It's just. You know what I like about his game, this Francisco?
Francisco?
Yeah, I love his how he takes a little bit of time. You know, a lot of times 23-year-olds are like fast guns. You know, they're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they just shoot, and he's thinking. He's a thinker. Even the jump shot that he made in the last rack, you know, that he hit, he didn't make it, but
He's
you know,
playing like a more seasoned player.
very
That's
much
what-
so,
yeah.
very much so, and that tells me that he's got a really good,
Teacher, yeah.
future ahead of him.
And it's
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
is he playing in the U.S. Open?
Yes, he is. Yeah. They were going to fly straight to the U.S. Open, but I told them about the tournament, and all three of them came here.
So
Nice.
it's your fault. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Well,
Really.
well, I lost to him, so
Off with your head. No.
the more the merrier, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
But I have to share a really cool story. Upstate I almost knocked my teeth out
Oh, God.
yesterday. Right? He's trying to show someone. Look, he's walking away. He was trying to show someone something about a direction and went like this. Boom! Swung his arm like that and hit me right here.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
thought he knocked my tooth out.
Oh,
you
my
know?
God.
But I still love him anyway. But anyway, but that's not the story that I really wanted to share. The one that I wanted to share is that yesterday when the tournament started, right? I couldn't find my phone, and I was looking for it like as quickly as possible because this man was so excited about the start of this tournament that he was standing up like this and he was like going like this. And he just couldn't sit down. He was so
just-
excited he couldn't take his eyes off the monitor. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That sounds like him.
Well,
Wow.
we live for these events, right, Al?
Absolutely.
How do you like when they changed to alternate break?
My tour is always winter breaks. But this is the only stop that we've ever done where it's alternate breaks, and it's because I wanted to help prepare everyone for the U.S. Open because that's the format that they're using for the
Yeah.
Open.
Good thinking.
And also with the 9 on the spot also.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, that's what they do at the U.S. Open. This is the only event I've done like
you
that.
almost
but
you almost have to do that.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Oh, for 9 ball, you have
almost
to.
have to. do
Otherwise,
that.
it's
everybody.
it's like 6 ball.
Yeah, everybody has a way to rack and
Wow,
a way to.
how do you
What a
like this rack?
beautiful rack. You
Man.
pop the
Yeah.
squat on the cue
There you
ball.
go.
And
there's
Three balls on the
parking that
break.
9 ball on the
Oh, yeah.
spot, and he just made how many balls?
Three balls
Three.
on the break, a
But
shot
he,
on
he
the
hit
one.
those like, I mean, superb. I mean,
But he hit them well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about racking and hitting them like a baby and making the corner ball
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
making
yeah.
that side. I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't like. So I was appreciative when I was looking at the rules. I was like, I said, they're pushing that 9 ball up.
oh, yeah.
You know, because Facebook, people always have little comments on there. What do you think about people manipulating the rack?
Well,
And
you
I,
know
yeah.
and
something.
I usually don't give my opinion on stuff like that. I usually mind my own business, but I did give my opinion on that one.
Yeah. Well, one thing, and in life in general, you just can't please everybody.
No.
No matter what. So one people. Oh my
Right.
goodness, one person rather. One person might like it, another person might not. So,
He's just firing balls in left and right.
And he's just but he's firing them in, but
Confidently.
but gently,
Yeah,
like that medium stroke. That it makes everything look easy. Looks like it.
Yeah.
Looks like he has the cue ball on a string.
Right.
And he's taking the time to go ahead and look to see exactly where he wants to leave the cue before he shoots the next one.
Yeah, I got to agree with you.
Yeah.
That he's a young man. He has that no fear gear on, but his demeanor at the table is like he's 45 years old and has the experience under his belt.
Yep.
But to answer your question earlier, Laurie John, I've always liked the alternate break format. But the reason why we don't use it on our tour for the amateur event is because they're already getting a big handicap to begin with. So it
Correct.
kind of gives.
Okay.
And then for the Open Pro, the reason why we play winner break is because we play 10 ball. We don't play 9 ball. So a little tougher to make a ball in the break. I've only seen one person probably ever run 5 racks on my tour, and that was Jason Shaw. That was it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't. You don't
Yeah.
string racks together as easily as 9 ball and 10 ball. Just that one extra ball.
But if we did pro events 9 ball, alternate break all
You'd
day
have
long.
to.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
I wish that pool was a little bit more simple, in the sense that, if I travel to Phoenix or go out of the country or whatever, and I play golf, I know the rules.
Yeah.
There's one set of rules. There's one way to play golf. That's it. There's no golf, something.
Different
games.
Yeah, different
Right.
Yeah.
games,
Right.
different rules, different.
Right.
And I think that we've confused. I really do. That would be my biggest thing on why the sport hasn't grown tremendously. I think we've confused America.
well, yeah.
Because you can't even if you go into 20 billiard rooms in New York City and play 30 different people, 50 different people, and you ask them, you want to play 8 ball? What rule? What do you mean you have
rules?
ball in hand? What do you mean it's not
Yeah.
ball in hand?
Especially
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
ball.
What do you mean it's this? What do you mean you can't use this as a combination?
Right.
And there's so many different, and I really wish that somewhere down the road, as far as like maybe what's at least seen on television, that they
Right.
just take one game,
And straighten the
and it
rules
would
out.
probably be 8 ball because
Yeah.
that's still the game that everybody knows.
That's correct.
And that's the professional game. That's the amateur game. This is the game we play. And for the fun, we can play 9 ball, 10 ball, straight pool, whatever,
Right.
all the other stuff. But like for television or for just something, take one game, one set of rules, and maybe,
Yeah, straighten it out for
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
it's just
You go to Manhattan, right, the city, and you
Oh.
go to one bar. You see the set of rules. Go right across the street. The bar right across the street.
Completely different
Complete
rules.
opposite.
Complete set of
And-
rules.
and-
Yeah.
And we have, other modified games that they have, with the 8 ball, where if you go up until like Spanish Harlem, you got what we call the Dominican rules, and they have a new set of rules that they do to modify their game and how they play it. So, that starts to span out, and then again you have another set of rules. People say, no, you can't do this. You get a hand span, and you got to do this, and you got to touch a rail, not touch a rail.
so like
there's those-
in tennis or in golf or in bowling, you don't have that.
Yeah, you don't have that at all.
No, not at all.
So it's kind of like, I wonder if that kind of affects the
Well,
I don't know.
it-
I mean, we do have one set of rules, and people adopt what works best for them. Like Tony. There's one set of rules, but Tony has elected in 10 ball for his tour, and his tour people love it. 90%. We were talking about this before. 80 to 90% of his the people that play on his tour in the open division, they love call shot, call safe. It's outside of the realm of the rules, but it's still, he's just very a little variation of the rules.
I mean, I think it's great. I like it.
I love call shot.
I like it. I
Yeah.
play in the amateur division of it, and we don't do it that way on that side. But I do
What a
do
great
like it.
shot.
However, there are
And
shots.
Lucky's got position.
there-
Look
there
at
are-
that. Wow, you got that perfect.
Yeah, really.
Wow.
They are, the two-way shot that all eliminates. There is no two-way shot now in the pro when it comes to that. So, before, well, as an amateur, when I play in his amateur tournaments, I can still play the two-way shots. I can go for a shot, go for a combo, or go for a safety, or go for a shot and safety, in case I do miss.
in amateur or in league or something like that, for sure. I mean, that's what everybody. I mean, my husband, my poor Dave couldn't run a rack without lucking something in. Or 3 balls. And then getting position on the next shot and acting like he was, that's what he meant to do.
Hey, I'm on top of the world at that point, right?
Talking about on top of the world, I understand that your father actually built a stage area
Yeah.
around the table when you were like 4 or 5
Yeah,
years old.
do you know I grew up? I was talking to Earl Strickland before, and he was talking about a 5x10 table, and I said, do you know that's what I grew up on? I grew up on a 5x10 Gandy,
Wow,
tight
I never
pocket
knew that.
Gandy
Wow.
table. So when I was like 5 years old and 6 years old, and I ran a rack of balls. I ran a rack of balls on a 5. I think about that today. I'm like, wow, I ran
On a
rack
rug,
of balls.
too.
Yeah.
On a rug, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
When you needed a stroke.
Right.
But my dad he took he found boxes that he could, he built long boxes and put them, wooden boxes, and put them together around the pool table so I would be able to, because he couldn't stand the bent arm. He had a phobia about a bent elbow.
You didn't
The
want you to
chicken
get
wing.
used to that way.
Yeah.
Did not want me to get used to that at all.
That's a great story.
What about Mucci, your sponsor, Bob
Yeah.
Mucci? He was disappeared for a number of years, and now he's coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah,
Tell us
well,
about that.
let me just tell you that did have a little bit something to do with me.
Well, we
I told
gotta-
him, I said, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
No, I told Bob very quickly. I said, Bob, I go, I said, you're like an icon out there. I said, you got to get back out, at least to the APA, the big shows in Vegas, the BCA. I said, get out there.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Bob and I have been
you
keeping
know.
in touch, and we got surprises coming up. He probably didn't tell you about it yet.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be a nice surprise. We're going to go down there and do something together. Yeah, you're going to be there.
That always scares me.
No, it's a great thing.
You never know with them
Yeah.
with this one.
You never know with Bob either. He's a little scary, but he's wonderful. He's so out that the technology. It just cracks me up because he just he's so into how things work. That type thing, and it just cracks me up because I just pick up a cue and I'm like,
Yeah, shoot.
It's great.
It's great.
It's great. Love this.
He's very enthusiastic about that. I used to be sponsored by Bob many years ago, but I know you've been with him since day one, so
Yeah.
Bob's always treated me
I
well.
started with the Mucci as well.
Yeah.
But a long time ago.
Well, Bobby, mine was easy. My nemesis back when was Jean Belucas. And growing up, that's the only person that you wanted to be. I could care less about anything else because if you didn't beat her, you weren't going to win a tournament. And so Bob came to me. It was the Reds
Red
Open
Dot.
in Houston. No, in Houston, Texas. It was Reds tournament. And it was a huge tournament, and I was 18 at the time, and Bob said, I want to make you a cue. And I used a Zamboni forever. And I was like, and you hear people, talk about fishing poles and things like that. And I'm like, I don't know, Bob. And he said, let me just make you a cue. I'll make it whatever you want in it. And he made me a beautiful cue with 300 individual cut pieces of little pearl. It was beautiful.
Wow.
I still have it today. And said, if you like the cue, keep it. If you don't like it, just keep it. Just do whatever you want. Do whatever you want with it. It's your cue. just try it. I tried it. I liked the way it hit. I beat Gene Belucas, won the tournament, and I never looked back.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
That's awesome.
Those were my cues. That's it.
Marriage made in heaven.
Well, I do
Very
remember
much
your Zamboni also.
Yeah.
I do remember
Little-
that. You were,
Little
I
butterflies
think you were
on
like
the bottom.
12 or 13 when you got that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I had one made at about the same time. And wonder if you, I was always questioning, I put it out there a couple times. I was like, wonder if she still has that cue.
You know, I don't know if my dad. The problem was we had a lot of stuff in my parents' basement, and the basement there was a fire, so we lost a lot of stuff, a lot of photos, a lot of things.
Oh, that's a shame,
So-
yeah. Your stuff you can't replace, especially the photos.
You know, but nobody got
Nobody
hurt.
got hurt, so
Yeah,
Didn't matter.
but yeah.
When all is said and done,
Yeah.
it all didn't
Absolutely.
matter.
Okay, so what we missed here?
Yeah, we missed about
Wait,
6 games, I think. That's what
No,
we
no. Well, I've been watching. I've been keeping. He shot a bank shot that didn't quite pan out the way he did.
He definitely has control of the table or the feel of the table, even though they're going back and forth a little bit. He has a 2-game lead, and I believe the break shot coming up to Carlo.
These are the shots, though, that you have to think twice about.
Yeah.
Do you play it? Do you call a safety?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different mindset, because this is the first time I've played these rules. And so, like last night, I had the one was near the 9.
Right.
Not that I would have shot it, but I really wanted to.
I know what you're
I
saying.
wanted to give
Yeah.
it. I wanted to give it a roll, But I knew that if God forbid, I missed that 9, if I called it, or if
Right.
and I missed it, and I
Yeah.
hooked myself on the 1, I'm gonna have to shoot.
that's right.
So
That's right.
See, it makes you think
makes
about
you
those
think.
two-way
Makes
shots.
you think. There are no two-way shots.
No, not at all. Okay, so he elected to try to play safe. I think he's left a clip of that 5-ball. He's just gonna get another safe here. He can bring
he
that
can
cube
see
up.
any
If he
He's
part
can
gonna try
see
to
it.
put him underneath the 6 and the 9.
That's
what you gotta
exactly
do.
where I would try
If
to
he's
do
got a
that.
little piece of it, he sure will.
He can hit enough to get the 5 past the 7 and in front of the 8 and possibly leave the cue behind the 6 and the 9. That's the move. I mean, assuming he can see the ball.
Right. I believe he can. I think he sees paint on that ball. He saw more than paint on
Well,
that
yeah,
ball.
he had to curve it. He had to massage it.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what
the curve, he
happened.
just clipped it too thick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hit it a little too thick.
Any other sponsors that you have, Laurie John?
I had no. I mean, for years I was sponsored by Olhausen and
Yeah, I remember
and,
that.
Yeah, Olhausen and Mucci, and I mean, just stayed with them. And then again, like when the economy just went tanked,
Yeah.
everybody a lot of people lost
Oh, yeah.
sponsors and stuff. So
Talking about the economy and talking about pool in general, what do you think? Do you think pool's on the uprise right now?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah.
I think
I
a lot
think
of
so,
I think a lot of things are on the uprise because, again, homes, building of homes, building, things like that. That kind of keeps the economy going, So
Yeah.
so the more homes that are built, the more homes that people look like you did for a basement for a pool table,
Yeah.
Or rooms for pool tables. It keeps going. It keeps our sport alive, and then the more we do live streaming, I love live stream because a lot of times if you can't do television and you can't do something, this is still out there. And today, I'm sorry, but I mean, like I know so many people who do not have cable, who do not have, they just have their computer, their TV, and their Netflix,
and a smartphone.
and their smartphone, the box,
Yeah.
and they'll tap into live streaming or something, and I think it's changing a lot of things.
Well, the booth here at AZB TV booth is always open, so anytime you see a seat, don't be a stranger.
I won't.
All right, good.
Did he get a roll? Did he get a jelly roll?
He got something.
I don't think he did.
No, I was going to say you could tell by the arm, kind of
I mean, he's got space between those two.
little body language.
He just didn't want to have to make this ball move so much, but I think he's got the shot still. got to dig a little.
Well, all he has to do is move it a good foot
He's
away
calling it,
from,
though.
to the right
he's
and bring the
calling
cue
it.
ball down to the short end of the rail here and just move that 7 ball like just enough to get behind the 9. He's calling
No,
the
he's
corner.
he called it. I'm telling you, he can dig
Cue
and
ball's
make
going
it.
to fly here.
This is one of my most difficult shots when the cue ball is extremely close to the object ball to see, to see the
Back
angle,
cut it
how much.
into a blind pocket, yeah.
Well, back cutting, it's not so bad. It's when you have to cut it just like, oh, nice shot.
Alan Hopkins is the best I've ever seen shooting that shot because I asked him years ago, why do you move your head so much? And he says, well, I get up like this to make sure I see the angle, and then I get
Yeah.
down.
Mhm.
That's what he says, you know, but he shoots that shot like a dream.
Like a dream. Wow. This is not a gimme.
No,
Not in
you know,
in these cuts.
For that shot, you would have, you know, sometimes you want a little bit of a roll.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well, all
But
he
he's
has to do
Carlo
is roll
Biado.
up.
He's supposed to make this.
Right.
He's Carlo Biado. If you're Carlo Biado, you're supposed to make this.
Well,
Look at
watch
this.
the
Look
rocks.
at this.
Oh, wow.
I didn't mention the cue ball, though.
Well, guess who did that? Shane Van Boning did that on the 6 ball.
my
Wow.
goodness.
It
Yeah.
happens. They're human. Everybody's human.
And,
Yeah.
how good did he hit that?
He's human but uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not,
Unforced error right there.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, with cue ball on the rail like that, could
Well,
hit a
that was to
little bit
tie it
easier, I
4
guess.
apiece, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to make it 4-3, I meant.
yeah.
So that was a big game.
That was a big game. Big swing.
It is 5-2.
Yeah. Yeah, that was to
That
make
was a
it
big,
4-3.
it was a big
Yeah.
game.
Well, yeah.
No, Al was questioning whether that was the. I said no. Go make sure because I'm on the score here.
Gotcha. You're on the job. You're on the
I'm
job.
on the job.
we're-
We're
while-
having
while-
fun and we're talking,
While
but
we're
I'm
yapping away.
Let's watch that spectacular
I'm
break of this
watching.
kid's. He's the only one that I've seen really that's hitting him hard enough to make a ball dead square.
I don't know. You'd have been proud of me
Commentator's
yesterday.
curse.
I made 3 9-balls on the break.
Wow.
wow.
It's a shame they didn't.
don't
sorry, they
count.
don't count.
Didn't count. They spotted.
You made it in the wrong tournament, right? Well, look at that. Look at the 9 ball.
Now look at this 2-9.
Well, they've been telling me that the 9's been rolling towards that pocket for most of the matches. So obviously the bottom ball isn't freezing, you know. Yeah, I might have to tap it in there tomorrow morning.
Most people, you know, he's using a very strong break. He's not using a cut break like a lot of other players that were on this table because it would seem to be the only thing that was working. Anytime anybody got there with a square break, kind of produced nothing. And I know that happens because I have a pretty square break. I don't usually cut the break either. And when I've played on a tournament here, I've had to use a cut break here for that, especially on these tables. But that seems to be what was working for everyone.
5-3 now.
Carlo Biado
Yep.
says, hey, you know what? I'll take an easy rack like that.
I got something to say about that. That's what he said. By the way, I didn't get to finish the story about the NYC Parks Department.
yeah.
Predator Q donated 2 poison cues and 2 cases for the winner, first and second
Very
place.
nice.
That's
so
awesome.
I want to give him a special thank you for that.
Man,
yeah.
I should have went back over. No,
Yeah.
Come back over there.
They probably won't allow you to play. You're
no,
too
they
good.
won't. I don't think so.
No, very nice, and they do a lot for.
Oh,
They do a lot for pools. So.
You know who played they had little mini tournaments going on and those things. You know who my brother played in them.
Really?
Yeah.
So he was hustling.
And he
them.
won. Well, I can't say all that now. I won't say it on the air. No. No, but yeah, he's got the little trophy from the joint, and it's nice. Oh. He asked me why didn't I go. Why don't you go? Oh, come on, I'm not gonna do that.
Ooh, he almost made that corner ball, but not quite.
Not quite.
They're trying to figure out exactly how much of the ball to cut to force that corner ball in. But the problem with that is that it's hard to rack in the same exact way every single time, unless you're
It
using a
is.
magic
Plus,
rack,
you got the raised rack on the 9
Yeah.
on the spot, so it's not working like a regular 9-ball rack. So
Exactly.
I mean, it's a
and
factor now.
Where is it freezing? You know, is
Yeah.
it because you have the spots still large.
Right.
So you do push up on the spot, pull back on the spot, and then sometimes
Yeah.
when you do, and the balls are already into place, you can't put them where you want them.
That's
But
right.
they're still falling into.
Jason Shaw was using a pretty strong cut break, and it was producing balls. Right? It's just unforced errors that he was doing kind of turned back the match over to Jandal, and he lost. But the break was working. It's just some unforced errors that happened
Right.
on his part that he
Another
couldn't
thing
get
I
out
see
of.
is with the 9 ball on a spot, usually with the 1, you can lean over and take a peek and make sure that 1 ball is frozen. You push that 9 ball up, that 1 ball is another 6 or 8 inches forward. It's hard to get over the top of them.
Oh, yeah.
You almost have to climb up on the table to see.
You just have to. I was gonna say I walked
the
to both
side,
sides a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times.
So you're trying to say that I couldn't see them?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I
Right?
did.
Right.
I didn't say you did.
You have to wear heels.
Yeah, right. That's gonna happen.
Break out the boxes.
Yeah.
She's
Hey.
like, that's
That might be an idea for me. I get a little step stool from like the 99-cent store down the block. I might be able to do that.
You
I
think he's
guess
gonna
that-
go for the 1 ball here? You think he's gonna make the go
man.
for
I'm
the
looking
9?
at the 9.
Yeah,
you
I was
know.
thinking you hit
Yeah,
that
you got-
rail.
If you're
Gosh.
Maybe
if
get
he's
to
going to jump, or does
Yeah.
he need to jump over that side?
Yeah, he has to jump.
Yeah, he
All
has
right,
to
so
jump.
you got
He's gotta call the 9
pull
now.
Gotta
it.
go.
You gotta
gotta
call
go
it.
the 9.
If you're not kicking at this, you're swinging at the 9.
I mean, just for general purpose, you got to call that.
Oh yeah.
I would think. Plus, these guys are so good at jump shots.
Oh, yeah.
They're just so accurate
Do you break out the jump cue, Lori John?
all the time. I know how to do it now. I got help from Devin Petit and Jason Shaw, and people who know like a little bit
How to jump? Yeah.
And so they gave me some hints, that I'm not afraid anymore.
Right.
And
That's awesome.
I know how to, and I can do it pretty aggressively.
That's good.
Oh, he just barely hit just the rail a little too soon.
Yep.
Tickled that
He,
9 ball.
He got fortunate not to sell out.
Oh yeah.
I believe I continue to say this with the jump shots. If they're not in the hole, a lot of times, more times than not, you're going to miss. You sell out a lot.
He's got a piece of this one. I'm aggressive. I'm shooting this one. Really. I'm back cutting this thing.
Well, he has to be careful not to come off the 9
Yeah.
and scratch. I mean, you would have to hit it pretty thin to do that. But,
Right.
straight pool. You know what I'm talking about.
I think he's going to play safe and lock him up and back at a 9 here.
That would be the
Mhm.
right
Yep.
thing to do.
Yeah. That's a nice shot.
Take that,
That's
young
good.
buck. That's what he's
Yeah.
thinking.
Let me see you jump this.
No, you jump and you call safety.
Now, Tony, if and when you play a player this young, and I'm not calling you old, but you're getting up there.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Something's wrong with her mic.
Ooh, okay, Snicky's out of this now. No, but if are you playing a player like this, do you feel like super confident that I'm a little more seasoned than this guy, and I might hit him with safeties like this, or I might outmove him a little bit? Is there something in you that feels a little more confident because of that, despite how good they're playing?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel that way against anyone, no matter
Anyone.
who it is. But that's how I've been my entire career, really. So I don't really. I've never been afraid of anyone because my dad put me in a tournament when I was 17 years old at a place called Fieldstone.
I know.
241st,
in the Bronx.
yeah.
I know that
And,
place was good.
I know it was
Ooh.
big, that place.
What's his shot? Off the point, maybe.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
strong.
okay.
Oh, he had
Oh,
an in
you had
betweeny
a window there.
window there
Wow.
with the little.
Wow.
He probably called it safe. But he said, you're gonna play against this guy now. I said, I don't want to play. I'm scared. He said, you're scared. I said, there was the only time in my life I ever said that. Started taking my cue apart, put it in the case. I said, Dad, what are you doing? He said, well, if you're scared, you already lost. What are you gonna bother wasting your time?
Ah.
From that moment on, I was never scared of anyone ever again. I
That's
didn't care.
good. I love your dad, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm so happy
He's
that
here.
he's here
He's
today.
here.
I know.
He's 80 years old. You believe that? He doesn't look anywhere near 80.
Not
Yeah.
even close.
Seen him before. He popped his head in.
I haven't seen him in a while. I keep asking. He's got a buddy that comes over to Steinway too, with it. He usually comes down with, and I always ask him. I'm like, "Come on, where is he?" And he's like, "He just doesn't want to come out." I'm like, "Come on, get him out." And I told him now. Look, he's actually right there at the door.
at the corner. Once he settles in, he stays in that same spot for 12 hours in a row. He won't move.
I
If he
love
gets
your
hungry,
father.
he'll ask me to get it for him, which I was more than happy to do.
I think also too, maybe she was alluding to the question. Like you can also use their aggression to your advantage, also. Like and on some push-outs and some safes, you might not want to lock them up all the way. You might want to play them to a shot where they can hit it.
Yeah,
and
you're playing into them. That's
they
what. That's
may
exactly.
swing at it. You know, you leave this guy a cut shot, he's a 50-50.
Now this guy is not doing that, but
He's
he's
not.
being a little more deliberate at the table, the way we said before. So, you know, but in general, sometimes when you know you're at the table so many years, you kind of feel a little more comfortable. Like, yeah, I'm gonna outmove this guy. I'm gonna outmove this woman. You know, this girl, this woman, whatever.
Yeah.
And you feel that just like a little more edge because of that.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're playing like this guy, you
Ooh,
know,
look
he
at that. That's a tough kick.
Tough break.
What a tough kick that was. Yeah.
Yeah, this apparently this young man, someone gave him the playbook, and he figured it out pretty good because he's somewhat aggressive, but just in spots where he needs to be.
You know, with being a female playing in men's tournaments, or if I choose to start doing this more often, you know, there is a difference. There's unequivocally there's a difference between men and women. But I feel I'm never afraid.
That's
I
awesome.
always have a good nervous energy no matter who I play. And if I don't have that nervous energy, I'll play horribly.
Right.
Because you need that adrenaline. That's what builds your adrenaline, is that nervous energy. But as far as like, you know, like, am I supposed to win? I'm always supposed to win. I go into every match. I don't care if I'm playing Earl Strickland. I don't care. I don't care what it is. You know, and you know, I mean, my best thing ever, and you were there. I was playing in the IPT tournament, and I ran 5 racks of 8-ball and out on Thurston Holman and
I'll
beat
never
him.
forget that as long as
I was in a complete coma. Like, you know, like there were, you know, and Thurston just came up to me. He said, "Man," he said, "I don't care who you were playing at that time, you were going to win." You know, and so that's as long as I do my part, even on alternate break, if I do my part, if you break and you don't make anything, that's what I did last night. I tried. I mean, it was hill, but, you know, I ran out his rack and then I broke and ran out my rack. If I do that, then I'm okay.
Right.
One thing I did do though that I will work on, I'm watching safeties. Defense, it's not good enough for a lot of these guys to just play a safety. You gotta hook them.
They kick so well.
Oh yeah, you gotta lock them up.
Man, they kick so they kick well, they jump well, and they know where the ball's going.
Yeah, they're
even
not
after
just
the
kicking
It's
in
not
with
just-
a reckless abandonment. They're
Yeah.
kicking
Yeah.
and you wind up
Yeah.
right behind the ball. Or
and
something.
that's
Yeah.
something that if I continue, you know, if I play with the women, my safeties are going to be good.
Right.
If I play here, I got to better myself.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to always continue. Like I always figure, if you think you know it all,
It's time to hang it up. Yeah,
unpack your cue and just put it away.
Yeah.
yeah,
Put it
because
away.
you know everything. Time to
But
put it
the
away.
fact that you had that attitude, the one that you were talking about earlier, is the reason why you've always been a champion. You know, I've always respected. I respect anyone that
He's
grabs
so
a cue.
sweet.
No, but she knows this. But that's always been my favorite Laurie John story, the one where she beat Thorsten. Tell them why you shot the way you shot. Why is it that you needed to win? Because I thought that was even more impressive.
Well, Thurston, he won the tournament before then, so he was guaranteed if the IPT took off, which if it did, everybody wanted a piece of that money.
Right.
If it took off, you were going to have your touring card in order to be guaranteed to come and be invited for the following year,
Right.
and then if not, you were going to have to go like out there in all of America and
Right.
qualify.
Win your
I
card.
didn't
Right.
want to do that. So I was under the gun, and so I looked at the board and I'm like, oh my God, I have to play Thurston. And I'm like, this is not good. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, it's the worst that could happen. I just got to like get out there and just shoot.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking to myself, and all this is going on in my head, and I'm like, I have to keep my card. I have to win to keep my card. He's already got his card.
Right.
And so that was like that was the
Yeah.
my
Motivation.
to win.
Mm-hmm.
But yet I knew that if he didn't shoot, I didn't care who I played. If you don't get to the table, you don't get to play.
No, you're
And they were
absolutely
playing
right.
winner break, and she just ran 5 and out on it. It was awesome.
Of the 8-ball. I
Yeah.
never did that like in my life.
Well, you remember
It was like
you remember the 8-ball
8-ball.
that you cut to one of the matches, kind of backward cut in the corner. I
It
remember
was
that
so
one.
good. I
You
was
know,
like, yeah.
it's like one of those matches that you get into, and like you said, you run 5 racks, and in the back of your head, you're like, how did I just win this? You know, it's one
You're
of
in a
those,
coma.
One of those gears, that comatose state where
And the more
everything
people,
works.
like I looked up and like there was a walkway that, there were no chairs, but it was like the walkway in between like all the tables. And
Right.
it was packed. And like I looked up and it was just, the heat from the people watching, 'cause
Oh,
they're
Earl
like,
Strickland
oh my
hits us
gosh.
with that all the time about the humidity of the crowd, and it is true. He is a rocket scientist.
Well, he looked like a rocket scientist today with the headset that he had on. Right? He looked like he was from
I
outer
love Earl
space.
He was
Strickland. I think he's
wrapping
great
that
for the
whole
game.
thing. I love Earl.
Now, during that match, Lori John, you ran the 5 racks. That crowd could have been jumping up and down doing jumping jacks, and you probably wouldn't have known they were there.
Oh, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what
When you're
what
playing like
happened.
that, you're in a zone. Nothing but
I was
music.
exhausted when I was done. Like when it was done, I was like, like I
Wow.
felt like I just ran 18,000 miles.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
and you want to know something? Like I can't say it enough. Thurston Holman is the greatest gentleman out there. He's not only a champion, he's a gentleman. And I
He
don't
is.
say
He's a
that
very
there's
good kid.
there's a hand pick of them that I will say this out there, and he is one of them. Not because I beat him, and not because he just always is polite, always is kind, always is nice. But when he, saw me even like the next day, and he just shook his head. He'd like look at me like this, and he'd shake his head, and he was just polite. There was
Right.
no, oh, she got every roll.
No,
I played bad.
Yeah. I know. You get enough of that all the time.
He tipped his hat to you.
For all the guys out there and for all the women out there, stop sniveling on Facebook about bad rolls and stuff. Think about because you did. Out of all the bad rolls you got, you probably got about 50 good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't. If
We
you
never
lost,
talk about
we
that.
never talk about
that. You
those.
never talk about
Got to
those.
talk about
Unless the
ones that you
Filipinos,
lost.
they get lucky all the time, they say.
Oh, please. Yeah. Yeah. They get lucky
I'm
running
lucky.
out rack after rack after rack after rack. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Dave was
It's just crazy. it's crazy. But I enjoy like just champions are just champions.
Right.
And women, a woman, I don't know, a woman playing against a man, they're under different, if I play against you, you're under, I think you're under more stress to beat me because I'm a woman, because it's the stereotypical thing,
Not
it's not because
necessarily,
no,
not
for
me.
you.
Right, because
the
for me, I
average-
respect anyone that picks up a cue, so I
Exactly.
look at everyone the same exact way. But that's why a lot
Because-
of times I win matches no matter who it's against. You know,
Exactly.
I'm not,
Yeah, you're
And
absolutely right.
Those are the people. What's interesting? You are the indifferent. There's the players that are like there's the guy players that might feel the pressure that they're
Oh, yeah,
playing the women
absolutely.
and they might just faint. Then you have the indifferent ones who might just beat you 10-1. Thank you, nice match.
Right.
That's it. Then you have the ones that are just, they're going to be infuriated if you play well against them.
That's
and
a
God forbid beat
stereotype.
them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just, don't look at me like I'm a woman. Just I'm a player.
Right.
I'm a player, and I also want to get better.
The seasoned players look at you like you're just another opponent.
Yeah.
But the amateurs and what coming up, they kind of feel the heat when they're up on the table against a female. They're under the gun, like you said. It's extra pressure.
I'm a player.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You are a player.
I'm a player.
And you're a champion.
Yeah.
You're not
But they-
only a
they
player.
have to
And you
respect the
intimidate
fact.
people, by the way.
but they have to respect. They don't respect the fact that she actually picked up a cue and put in the time just like everyone else did.
Right.
And that's why I never underestimate anyone, no matter what level they play.
Right.
And I've done well with it. But what I'm saying is that you have to have that. It's okay to respect your opponent, but you should respect your game more than your opponent's. Because once you start respecting their game more than yours, you already lost before you start the match.
Right.
You know, but you can't underestimate.
Yeah, you have to
Exactly.
just play the game, not your opponent.
Play
You're-
the table.
You're playing the table.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting?
And-
I will play sometimes better. Again, if I know that a player's great.
Oh, it
Like,
elevates your game.
My game, like as far as like the guys, like, you know, someone said last night, you know, who I was playing, and I was like, I don't know, and they're like, oh, he's a really good player, you know, that type thing, and I, you know, I had no idea. I mean, I was just like very indifferent. But if I know that I'm playing like Jason Shaw, Thurston, Tony, I'm mentally.
Right.
I
You're
mentally, I'm
amping
like,
up.
okay, I have to like play my best, you know, and so I gear up for it.
Right.
Although I should do that every match.
Right.
no matter
Yeah.
what.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Your opponent, you got to say, oh, this is the best player, and I'm going to play my best game against him.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, he's going to do it to me.
You know, going back to the point where you say, like, I was in a coma, you know, where you're just shooting full punch. Wouldn't it be so nice just to have something like that where you can just open it up? You know what I mean? Anytime you want it to. You can make $1 million overnight if
They're
you can
called
do
can-
that.
question.
cans of whoop-ass.
Yeah, open up the can. That's what it's called.
No question. Yeah.
Do you see what happened, guys?
Yeah. It's 5-5.
It was 5-5. He was down 5-2. And then Carlo Biado did the cup break. The cue ball hit the side rail, went straight in the side
And
pocket,
yeah,
and ball in hand. Yep.
He's going to make him pay. And your opponents, I look at my opponents, know how I look at them as rackers. That's what I think. You're my racker.
Well, with alternate break though, you're your own
You're
racker
your own
now.
racker.
So, so you can't think
Yeah.
of that
So there
anymore.
goes that.
Depending on the tournament you play in.
Well, and that change. That speaking of which, that alternate breaks that changes up the whole game. There's no no running away with the match.
But the
like-
great players are still going to win.
Yeah, they are absolutely. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
They always find a way to win.
Of
They
course
do
they do.
find it.
It's amazing. You know, great players find a way to win.
Yeah. They're winners.
Winners, you know, losers are
Winners
going to
win.
find a way to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
This just in via Gail Glazebrook Robles. Dennis Acolo is winning 7-5 against John Dell Mason, who we just saw on the live stream. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you, honey.
No, that's another name, Mason, from the Blast from the Past. There, kind of Joanne.
Joanne Mason Parker.
Is she still playing, or?
She played a little bit on the Florida tour, you know, for a few years ago, and she's doing the Legends thing in,
Oh, okay.
in January. There's the Ava, myself, and her, and Jim Rempe, and a few others are doing some stuff in Florida. So you know, she keeps.
Tabs on
She
us.
keeps, yeah, she keeps up on everything. She actually sent me a text. You
Oh,
know,
before, really?
Just like yeah. I talk to her quite often.
Oh, good. That's
So
good. She's quite the young
spent,
player.
spent
Who's
the
that?
past 2 New Year's Eves with her. So it was yeah, it's been a little bit crazy.
Who's that?
Joanne Mason.
Joanne
Joanne
Mason.
Mason. Oh, I love Joanne.
Joanne Mason Parker. She's
We've known each other since we
Sweetheart.
were like 13 years old. Her dad used to
know,
give me lessons.
I
He was
know.
my first mental coach.
he
was
still
unbelievable.
gives he
Yeah.
still
Oh,
gives lessons.
yeah. Well, you know when we got
Harvey
when-
still can run out.
Oh yeah. Well, when Gail and I got married in Florida, on the way down to the Keys to have a little what she called mini moon, we stopped by Harvey's house.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. Got to see his wife. Everything was pretty cool. But what a great player she was too, Joanne
I'll
Mason.
mean,
talk
sure,
about
sure, so
talk about the sidearm.
The sidearm. Okay.
What my dad did not want me to have.
Yeah.
Joanne has that little sidearm.
Yeah,
and
like
she's
even at
just-
12 or 13
she's so
years old,
feisty.
she was some
Oh, and
little
she's-
player. Yeah.
She's still she.
Oh, I
just-
can imagine. Yeah.
the-
You don't
the-
lose
the-
that.
No, the I don't want to say nasty, but you know that nasty firepower comes out in her. Like no matter who she's playing or how long she's been out or anything, she cracks me up.
Yeah, she likes to win. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I remember
very
her
much
competing
so.
all the time, and she would get up there, little girl. And getting back to what you were saying, the guys playing the girl, she would put a whooping on guys, and they would leave, and they would not be happy.
No.
mad. You
and,
know,
and,
it's just
and her little feisty, she had that really firm handshake grip, and she'd go.
Yeah.
she,
I'm gonna take you down.
she
Right?
would.
When you see her, tell her I said hi.
Yeah, I will.
So let's see how he hits these. The last 2-3 breaks have come up dry since he made those 3 balls on the break. See?
Great, powerful break, but look, another
But you see,
I don't like it.
dry. I don't
but,
like it
but
either.
if you remember when he hit that one where he made 3 balls, the cue ball didn't jump
Didn't
up as
jump
much,
up.
I think.
No,
So he
it-
caught
No, it was
more of the
more of a-
one ball. He had a little more action.
yeah.
That squat break
More of a
works
follow
1
through.
out of 5 or 1 out of 4 with this format.
Yes.
When it does work, it looks beautiful. It's like that.
Well, that's why I believe
you-
that the match is 6-5.
But how about moving the even if it's like this side, move it to this side. Move it to the left instead of the right, or
Right,
do
right.
something. Especially when you start getting like two dry breaks in a row. I move it instantly.
And keep that in good practice, and it becomes muscle memory after a while. Just found out that Dennis Acolo is now up 8-5.
8-5. All right. Well, you know what happens is he made those 3 balls breaking from that same spot, so he probably still has that in the back
In
of
his
his
mind,
mind.
and he's-
so he's
but-
trying to force, something to go in one way, but sometimes you just gotta let it go. You just probably hit it that perfect, or you racked it perfectly that one
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's
You're
like
right.
I said, it's hard to rack it the
But
same
that
every single
goes
time.
with what I was telling you before. A seasoned player would know, move that ball now, move it, do something different now. But he's stuck on how great a break he had before and what the turnout was. But now what? He sacrificed 3 other breaks because of it.
Yep.
And where is he from?
Spain.
Okay. Now, did he come with the gentleman
With
that
David
I played?
Alcaide and Javi de Santos Sanz. Yeah, the gentleman you played.
Yeah,
Yep.
the name that I still can't.
It's that big tall glass of water.
Yeah.
It's Javi, right? Let's work on it. Javi
Javi
del Santo
Del Santo
Sanz.
Sons.
There you go.
I love the hand gestures
Hell
too.
yeah.
Right? Del
The
Santo.
Santo
Like you're
Sanz.
almost writing it. It's like
Orchestra.
orchestrated here.
You can't say that name without doing
Yeah.
this.
Porque yo soy italiano. Italiano talk with their hands.
You know Italiano,
Actually,
okay?
when
No.
it was funny, I didn't realize I was playing him, and I practicing. I just asked. I said, hey, can I hit some balls? Yesterday, and he was like, oh, yeah. And I thought he for some reason I thought he was Russian. Like tall,
Yeah.
tall, dark,
Yeah.
good looking guy. I'm thinking he's like Russian. And then he says something, and I said, oh, I go, you don't speak a lot of English, do you? And so he says, hi, he goes, and when he was talking, I said, oh, you're not. And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, he's not Russian. And then they call our match, and both of us are walking to the back table.
I gotta play this
and
guy.
I looked at him and I go, and he goes, yeah, you're my boy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, boy.
He's a really cool guy. He
That
really
one
is.
moment
Really
of
nice.
clarity
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
He was
well,
really looking
okay.
forward to playing with you. He told me that.
Well,
Do you know how do you say guapa in Spanish? In English, I mean, guapa, como guapo, guapa.
Oh, the slang way of
Yeah.
it, you mean? Okay, because there's a technical way for guapa.
Yeah.
Guapa would be,
Give her a description.
Guapa's like saying, wow, like,
uh-oh.
no,
It's
no,
tricky,
no.
right?
It is. There's a few ways you can translate it, but I mean, like cheeky, kind of slick, but in a female version. That's what he's saying. Guapa
But a lot
is
of
like,
times, guapo, like if you say Tony, tú eres un guapo, like you're a guapo, that means like you're a good-looking guy.
Well,
or
that's why I
whatever.
said if you translate it,
Yeah.
a technical translation. Then if I say guapo, then I'm saying that you're a handsome guy.
Right. So he told me, I was saying you play Laurie John. And he said, "Oh, la guapa."
Oh yeah,
That's
so
what
he
he
was saying,
said,
"Oh,
yeah.
the beautiful girl."
Yeah.
over there?
I'm a la guapa. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
No,
like that,
because-
right? You like that?
it was either that or just cheeky.
No, well, no.
I don't think it was cheeky.
Hey, I'm
Well-
just translating the translation here.
Yeah, there you go.
The slang
love it, I
the
love it.
slang for that word would be being cheeky, being a little slick, being
Right.
so we know that's our slang.
Okay.
But for the
Slick.
technical translation would be that he was calling her a beautiful woman.
Or slick, cheeky Lori John.
Cheeky. Right. Like cheeky. Cheeky sounds young.
We're not gonna age anybody here, okay?
It looks like Carlo's getting ready to knot this one up. Wow.
Oh, look at this.
Maybe
look
not.
At this. Look
You
at
know,
this.
He's
He
got
might
corner
hit
hook.
behind the point. He got corner
Oh
hook.
my goodness.
He got
And
corner.
he hit that, that was just
a
careless.
little too
little
much.
bit, just to me, I don't know, just a little careless or maybe little nerves.
But
Not
the thing
sure.
that always amazed me about this game, guys, and I'll say take this to my grave, is if you try to actually shoot that ball the way he did, run into the ball the way he
Oh.
did, and
You
stop it
couldn't
behind
do
the
it.
point, you could not do it if you gave
Yeah,
him
A
20
you got
million
100 shots.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not at
that's
all.
what's amazing about
I
it.
say he goes 3 rails and makes the 7, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, he's Filipino. He knows how to kick, These Filipino kick are unbelievable. They really do.
They really do. Well, they're lucky, They're,
They're
I mean,
lucky.
everything,
More than
everything,
everyone.
Oh,
everything
I had
they
a,
do, that's what we hear.
They play a game. Someone told me the last time, and I failed to get the rules of it. But they play a game. I believe they rack 3 balls, and they play. It's a kick game. You have to go at least 2 rails
I wouldn't doubt it.
and kick the ball in, and that's how you win. And that's what they practice.
Oh, wow.
Like billiards.
Interesting.
Almost like billiards, but with pockets, because you
He's
have to.
calling it.
You have to call it towards your pocket, or in order to win, you got to make the 9 ball.
Okay, we're either going to see an incredible shot or an incredible
Incredible
shot.
shot.
Incredible shot. Wow.
Incredible shot.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was a
See-
hell of a hit. But like I said, they're just good. Do you see that? They're just great kickers. They really are.
My
Now,
goodness.
How do you know what's
3 rail
amazing?
kick.
You know what's amazing? Now,
That was the norm for him.
He got a roll there, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
He got lucky.
For all you people out there, and I'm really being
You're being
sarcastic.
cheeky.
I mean, he hits the ball. How firm did he hit that?
Yeah, he
comes
let it
around
loose.
because he didn't let it loose because he had to make the ball and get
And
position
position.
to rails. I
Wow,
mean,
look at that. 6'6".
I mean, he didn't even
Amazing.
let him shoot the 9
No.
because of the respect he gave him
Yeah.
for making
It was
that.
an amazing shot.
Oh, yeah.
Pair of
And-
sixes.
But imagine hitting it with that much confidence so you can hit it that hard, really believing you're going to make it, because if you make it, you have to hit it that hard
well,
in order to play
you're
position
not,
on
you're
the
not
eight.
going to shoot a shot unless you really
I'm
think
thinking
you're going to
I'm
make it.
thinking- I'm
Yeah.
thinking, please, dear God, let me hit the ball.
Yeah.
Or not scratch, because he could have easily scratched off.
Let
of
me
that
at least
also,
come
yeah.
close.
Well, it's obvious he plays a 3-ball kicks game, right?
Well, yeah. That was a great shot. That's what I was saying. I said, we're going to see either really great shot or incredible
Yeah.
sellout.
That made up for his letting the cue ball run loose. So
Yeah.
I think in his mind, he'd let off to a real good shot, a real good kick shot. So he's going to forget about him letting the cue ball go.
That was great.
And now he has the break, so he really has the advantage here.
Yeah, it's swung the other way now.
It's amazing. I guess Efren was kind of the start of
Yeah.
all of it, and we heard for years. I'm like, I said, yeah, I go, man, he's been lucky for years. I said, Efren just continues to shoot 3 rail kicks, makes them, or cuts in a ridiculous shot that you can't make. I mean, some of the shots that they come with can't make. I watch and I study, and it's God-given talent.
He
that
truly
they
is
just
the magician.
completely- Oh, really, truly.
Yeah, he's
He
something
did.
else
He
to
did
watch.
some stuff. Even at Vivian's tournament, it was a bar table tournament, so very, very different. I'm not a bar table fan or player, per se, but I mean, he came with a shot. Efren there was just something that he did. It was a bank shot. It was so ridiculously difficult, and he was the magician.
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah.
nickname, because he not only did it perfectly, but his position was beautiful, and it was just unbelievable.
He's very creative.
He is. I mean, you know Buddy Hall,
Yeah.
right, very well. And Buddy told me that many, many years ago when we were watching, Buddy and I were sitting down watching Efren playing, and he came up with a shot that was so sick. And he said, Tony, you're really, really witnessing someone special when you have someone like me that has played the game over for 30 years, and this guy comes out of nowhere and executes a shot that I didn't know existed. You know what
My
I'm saying?
goodness.
Yeah.
For Buddy to say that, that is super strong.
Nice.
Yeah, and we were sitting here commentating, 100 matches or whatever, and that's the difference between even you and Lori John and the other pros that are in the room. we're calling a shot. And we're looking, well, what can they do? And they pull something out of their hat and say, I never even thought of
Yeah.
considering that shot, or how did he do that? And they said, well, that's the difference between good and great,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Look at Mika yesterday. Remember the shot that he went? I said he went inside between these. He's had a window of like 6-7 inches only, and decided to double
Yeah.
back the rail.
Yeah, he got unfortunate, but he played it, and he
He just
used
played.
reverse.
He
and
used reverse off the rail and came
tripled
back,
the
double
rail,
back,
you know?
and came
Double the rail.
But there was a 3-8, about 6-7 inches apart, and he came between those two to come back. And when he had a bigger space to come around with some draw and come around a good 3 or 4 balls that were around there, and I thought, well, he's gonna either play the long shot or come back and draw around all these balls. He just went in between these two, 6-7 inches apart, and perfectly got in that little window and came right back to the
Yeah.
rail. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't-
didn't
I would've
expect it, didn't
never-
see
Threaded
it.
the needle, right?
Yeah,
he
didn't-
really
like,
threaded the needle.
What did he just do?
Yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah.
thank you. I'm so glad you said something because I'm looking. I guess he called. I'm assuming he called a safe because unless Francisco sits down, which he's not, doesn't look like he's. He hit the ball like very hard, like he was trying to do something.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 balls
Yeah,
moved in that shot.
I don't know. I'm not sure if he
The
called.
Reshuffle.
greatest shot I ever saw in my career was when Efren Reyes made that 2-rail kick shot
Oh,
against
the Z
Earl.
shot?
Zigzag.
Yeah, that's the greatest shot ever, I think, in the history of the game ever.
I think
And that was not for fun either, you know?
No, they did a hill to do a hill to win a major tournament like that. That's unbelievable.
even Earl had to clap and stand up for that one. I
Yeah.
remember that shot.
Well, Earl said afterwards that when Efren was going to shoot that shot, before he shot it, he was thinking that there was only one player that had made that same exact shot against him years before, and it had been like 12 years prior to that, and Efren comes up and hits him with that shot.
Wow.
And for him to live,
I
to
watched-
relive that, not
Yeah.
live it once, but live it twice, it had to be something.
Yeah, and not only that, it's embedded in video for forever.
For everyone else.
I watched
to
it,
see too.
I don't know, about a month ago. I was like, wow, look at that. That was a crazy shot.
Well, they have quite the battle going on here.
Yeah.
See who ends
Really
up taking
do.
the lead.
And the young lad is keeping his composure, too, at 6'6".
Is David cheating again?
He's got a one-rail kick. Unless he can get to the bottom rail. I don't think he can get to the bottom rail for the kick.
Yeah, missed.
It was a real nice save by Carlo to get ball in hand and control it as stable, and possibly the match right here. Not the whole match,
Not
but
the
he's definitely going to have control of the match. If he runs out here and then has the break, it's a huge advantage.
Any update on the Dennis Orcollo match?
No. Al stepped out. Maybe he's going to come back with some updates.
How many are left in the tournament now?
After this round, 6. We'll be coming back tomorrow.
Wow.
And this will be the last match of the night for the live stream.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. And this has all the makings of going 10-8, 9-9, somewhere in that vicinity. Or I'd like to see a 9-9 match here. Hill. I don't think we had one all day on the live stream.
No, we didn't.
That's a move right there.
Yeah, kick that out.
But, I think he was trying to hit a dead square and then just
Yeah.
stop the cue ball there. But, I mean,
I don't think he made clearance there.
Yeah.
Not for
He's got a
there,
pocket
but
down
he's
here.
got a pocket in
He's
the
got a
other
po-
corner.
yeah.
The other corner, at least it's out.
Yeah, well, he's got work to do still. The 2 is only in the side. I don't think he's got the corner with the 9 in the way.
Yeah, he's going to
might.
side pocket, go to the short rail, a lot of spin, and with a little speed. and thread the needle between
Yeah, I'm
the
trying
5
to
and
figure
the
out if he can
This is-
fit one Mack truck or two Mack trucks past the 7, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
Looks like he might be able to fit one Mac truck.
Oh, you
past the
think he
7
can,
bolts
I
with
he
the
can
don't
squeeze
know
that
about
past there?
Yeah.
You think he's got a half a pocket there?
He might. I don't know. It's hard
Unless
to
you're
tell.
talking about those little,
Matchbox.
Yeah,
Matchbox
yeah.
and what was it?
Let me see.
Mattel.
Any updates on the Dennis Okoye
Yeah,
match?
he can fire that in, I think, Tone. He might have room.
All
Those,
right.
those are like those are my toughest shots.
Yeah.
I have to either like really truly believe that I can fit
You can
a
make
Mack
it.
truck
Absolutely.
through there,
Yeah.
or
I don't find it too difficult when the ball is in front that I'm shooting into the pocket, but I find it when the ball is forward. Say the 7 was there and the cue was down by the 5. I often look right past the ball that's in my way, and so it winds up a bad hit or something. Because I'm looking at the ball. I can make this, and there's really no room to
the other
squeeze
ball
it.
just
The
kinda-
ball's there.
you just kind of hit right into the ball that you think.
Oh,
you
he played it
plays
safe.
safe.
Look,
Safe.
look how
Like,
good he hit that
wow.
one, huh?
Wow.
That
I
was
like-
just
He
a
hit that
smart
great.
shot. That
He
was
hit
a
that
smart
really
shot.
pretty sporty.
I tried telling you guys, no one wants to
There
listen.
you
to
go.
him.
There's a just
Yeah.
Yeah.
for an instance, like we were
Dennis
talking before.
is up
that-
8-6, by the way.
Okay, very good. 8-6.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Well, now it's going to be 8-7, I guess.
8-7.
Yep.
Goes to show you, we're just speaking about that, where great players often do things that
Thank
you
you,
don't
Al.
expect and psych you out. We're looking for him to fire in this too and go.
No, it was
some
just too
cra-
tough to get
you know
back
what?
to that
He
3.
just played safe.
I like that choice better. It's either that or do something really crazy. Yeah.
And he's got him pretty good here too.
2 rails.
So, yeah.
You got a nice easy 2-rail kick.
I don't know about easy.
Easy.
No, easy. I mean, some people. You
Easy
know.
for Efren.
Billiard player,
Well, we can't phone a friend here. Okay, there's no tagging in.
right? He's going the other
He
way.
looks like he's
He's going to bend it.
curving.
Yeah, he's going to bend it a little bit and use his speed.
I
So-
didn't
no,
like
But I was
that.
going
No,
to tell
I
you
didn't
that.
know. I
I was
didn't
going to
like
say
that.
that
It was
the
a
table's
bigger
sliding.
ball.
No, the
I-
table's sliding.
Yeah.
New
So
cloth.
so the spin isn't grabbing the way it normally would to come.
Yeah, I just
I
think
didn't
it was
like
a-
that. I don't think he dug
Yeah.
down like
Yep.
Yeah,
enough to
I just
curve
think it was a
No.
bigger-
Now he
bigger
made it
ball.
easier for him because now he has ball in hand, and 3 has 1 Mack truck up there, but now he has 2 Mack trucks down here. So
He's got a whole fleet.
yeah.
I think Al has his headphones off, but did you, well, I was just going to ask you, did you see the 2-rail kick? You were, as a billiard player, I know, me and Al are on the same page with the billiard game. And
Tony's right. The cloth is new, and it slides.
But I figured if he curved it enough, then he would have make up for the
Make
slide.
up for yeah.
yeah, that's hard.
Adjusted for the slide. But,
That's a real hard shot to judge.
well, this one he has to be careful with this one. He doesn't want to he wants to make sure he doesn't run into the 5, but that he doesn't go behind the
Behind
8.
the
You
8.
know.
Yeah, he'll be. Ooh, and you called it. Look at this.
I'm telling
Look
you,
at
it's-
this.
It's a tricky shot. because
Tony,
you-
you just called it.
It's just I've done it wrong so many times.
That's
That's how I'm looking at it.
It's just a commentator curse. That's all it is.
Really, it's
Yeah, and
like
coming up to bat, this guy hasn't hit a home run since 1991. Boom, God!
Yeah, and it's
How many times
outta
you seen that in
here.
baseball, right?
Yeah, he's on a
ooh.
30-game no-hitting streak, and
Well, the reason why he wound up behind the 8 because he didn't want to hit it with too much spin to make sure he didn't run into the 5.
to the 5, right?
You're
He's not happy with this.
No, this is like a great safety.
This is a hanger for Efren.
What do you see? You say go up the table?
He might just massate off that rail and then come back. Whoosh,
No, there's another
curve.
shot.
But that's tough to
We
do.
got a
on
little
this
trick
table.
shot here. You go to the long rail, you jack up, you hit high, and you pop it. The cue ball comes up, it jumps over the 8 ball, and
He's
it goes in the
calling
hole.
it. He's calling it.
Oh, so he's going to do another
He's
3-rail
going to
kick?
do
That's
another
what-
3-rail kick.
You know the shot, right?
Oh man, if he makes
Which one was that?
this.
This is easy.
Jump up
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit, you
Yeah.
pop it, and it goes.
3 rails and kick it in, he said.
Man,
How do
he
you
hit
hit
that
that?
good.
Oh my
It's just
God!
ridiculous.
I tell you what, he didn't make it,
Stand by.
but he scared him.
Listen,
He's
if
getting on
he
with it.
didn't have him scared from before, I mean, really.
He hit that great.
Oh,
He
my
I
really
mean,
God.
you
did.
know how hard it is to hit that with reverse spin? He hit that with reverse spin.
Yeah. For it
You
to
said
straighten it,
reverse
because
spin,
at the
yeah.
end it straightened out a
Yeah.
little. Unreal.
Truly unbelievable. And he sliced that 4-ball.
You know, we'll set that shot up and I'll show him how to do it next. Yeah.
It's hard to be someone that has very, very few, if
We're
anything,
gonna
no
intro-
weaknesses.
We're going to introduce another fresh, new guest in the booth, JT of NYC Grind.
What's up? Some fresh energy. What's going
up?
on?
Fresh energy.
How's it going, JT?
I just got tag team, so I just got tagged. So I'm in the booth for a little bit. What's going on?
Very good.
Everything's good. How about you? It's good to see you back in action.
Yeah, back in action, but unfortunately, I know you mentioned NYC Grind, but
I do,
unfortunately,
but you'll always be
Yeah.
that.
it was a Freudian slip, I guess, because I unfortunately
Well.
had to make a decision to stop it.
I hear
Late
you.
June, I had to stop coverage. Timing wasn't really right to do some of the things that I was really planning to do.
I expect you back.
To
though.
do some big things. I was planning some very big things with the game. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it happen. Really meet a certain threshold that I was looking to meet. So anyway, I still
at
love the
this, Ro.
game, and I'm coming. You know, I came back. I played in the event. I'm taking a beginner's mind approach to the game, where I'm you know, Laura, I know you mentioned you're always looking to learn when you play, and you like to play good talent.
All the time.
I feel the same way, and it's one of the reasons why I played. Because I wanted to just test myself and see if I'm still alive. Like, see, you know, if I'm awake, if I have that fight in me still. So that was one of the reasons I played, and I had a really tough bracket. I had to play Earl Strickland first round, Carlos Biado second. They both played really good on me. So it was good. It just inspired me to want to play more, and I had an opportunity to watch you, Lori, play last night. I made some time to do that, and you know, I'm very impressed with your game. I really am. You still play really great. I know your legacy and what you've done, but in this moment, you're still running out.
You know, I had that. I felt that spark.
Yeah, you had it. You did have
I
it last
had
night.
that spark.
Yeah.
I just wanted him. I wanted, like, I don't know. There's just like a portion of me that wants you to know I can play still.
Right.
You know.
That's kind of that's what
I'm not gonna roll.
that's
I'm
in
not
me
gonna
too
die.
a little
I'm not
bit
gonna
as well.
die.
Right.
You're
Exactly.
not gonna beat me 10-1.
Right.
And if you do, it like yeah, I
You
better
Better watch
be
out
going
next
into
time.
it. Yeah, I was gonna say, alternate break. It's gonna be pretty tough to do that to me unless I'm in a coma.
Right. Well,
The other way.
Yeah.
last
Oh,
night
yeah.
A
well,
bad way.
you lost, but I wouldn't really say you got beat. You lost the set, but you played great, and you got a funny. And I think you got like a weird scratch at the end.
Yeah, there was a couple.
there was a couple-
But you want to know something again? Couple bad rolls, and a couple good rolls too.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and a couple good rolls that
Yeah.
that I'll hold on to also. You
Yeah.
know, and that's something that, you know, when I think back, you know, again, like, you know, you think about, oh man, I scratched, I had this happened, you know. But I mean, he also scratched on a 7-ball, gave me a ball in hand on an 8 and 9. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, stuff. I got some nice rolls.
Yeah.
So.
And
I
you
played-
got to get
and I-
some
and
good
I
rolls
played
to win the
good.
tournament. That's for
Yeah,
sure. No matter what
exactly.
tournament that you're in. And here we are at the inaugural Gotham City Classic in Brooklyn, New
Love
York.
this.
To have a pro event here in Brooklyn, New York,
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Love it.
Right.
I'm really enjoying it.
I know. That's why
Love
you're
it.
here. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to be here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
Yeah.
And Snooky's here with us too. What's up, Snooky?
Hey, what's up, Jay?
Good to see you. You
Ooh,
know,
look at
you're
that. He
in the
missed a
box
4 on
and
the
you're
side there.
contributing
Yeah.
and you're part of the mix
Wow.
over here. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
See, he's human.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He makes 3 and 4 rail kicks,
Mhm.
but he'll miss a side pocket shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he made the 8-ball earlier in scratch. Remember, in the side pocket. This
Yeah.
time he just
Oh,
missed
yeah.
the 4-ball.
You know, it's funny you mentioned those 3-rail kicks. How many times we see a player come with a great shot like that 3-rail kick, and then the next shot is like almost straight in and just fog out and miss it, you know? And I was
Yeah.
sitting at the doorway, and I'm saying, oh, no, I hope he doesn't miss this 8-ball. But he shot it right in the hole and won that game.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Now.
Welcome
Now,
to the diamond.
that is not something that I expected to see.
Okay, what did he do, though? He jumped up in the air.
Yeah, he hit the ball real fat, he undercut it and he kind of jumped.
Jumped right up in the air.
Yeah,
I'd
you
like,
know.
I'm just telling you, on,
Yeah,
on
no,
a,
yeah.
if I
No,
was
you're
his coach,
100% right.
if I was his coach, I'd
Yep.
say jump up on that shot.
Well, I told you the story yesterday, right? Earl was practicing and he jumped up like a frog on one shot and he missed it. look at him, and I said, "Oh, how many times do I have to tell you? Stay down on your shot." He started dying laughing.
That's great.
But yeah, no, he did jump up on that one for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I guarantee you, Carlo really feels fortunate to get back to the table.
No question.
Oh, look at this. If it freezes, no, I think he's good. I don't think he has that scratch angle from here. But if he did have the scratch angle, he would have had no choice but to, elevate the cue.
You know, it's funny. This cloth I found different temperatures too. You know, when the air conditioning was on a little bit more or something like that. You know, the cue ball. Sometimes I'd hit the ball not hard, and it's rolling. Rolling. I'm like, whoa, and I'd be a little bit off on position or something, to keep in mind, like, don't hit the ball like that hard.
Yeah, Kevin's really gone all out to try to keep the equipment running more or less the same way.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm not. You can. There's just so much. This equipment was fabulous. Everything about it. But when you have like certain temperatures, it might affect that cloth just a tiny bit.
It does. It does affect it a little bit. It does.
And it's like what you hit before. That was maybe traveling a foot afterwards is now traveling a foot and a half.
Yeah.
Easy.
So right now we're looking at Dennis Ocolo set to
He's
break
on the
right
hill.
now. He's on the hill. He's playing really great. Dennis is one of my favorite players. I just love the way he plays under pressure. He always seems to come with a really tough clutch out.
Yeah.
I notice in like really tight situations, he comes with those tight clutch outs. So I'm impressed with that. And Lori, that's something that you're known for as well, under pressure, really performing. So I'm curious to know, because I'm a student of the game, like what would you say is the foundational principle in order to consistently come up with results under pressure? I know it's like hard to say, it's magic in a bottle, it's lightning in a bottle, but what would you say kept you together during those times?
It's a tough question.
It's it is a tough question.
It comes from every sport,
Just right.
So what I said before, you have to have a little bit of nerves, the little bit of nerves that give you your adrenaline. Now, if the nerves take over your body, which when I was younger, that used to happen. I used to shake so badly on my legs, and I was literally like it would feel like somebody put me in a freezer.
Wow.
And I would be like, my body was like uncontrollable shaking.
Wow.
Not good. Not good.
Right.
So I always tell my son that the best advice I have, you got to dig down deep. You never give up, and take your time. Don't rush. If somebody misses, don't get up there and go ooh. And
Yeah.
take some breaths, walk around. You also have to have the gift. If you're not a great player, you're never going to be a great. I hate to tell you.
Not everyone's a rock
Thank-
star. Not
thank
everyone
you.
could perform in
Thank
front of 40,000 people.
You're never, you've
That's
got,
true.
you've got the great players, and the great players, or even really good players,
Yeah.
or good, B players, B plus, A players, whatever they are. You have players that just have that little bit of edge, and that comes from, I always say, don't ever have a bad attitude. Just don't ever have a bad attitude, and just don't ever give up, and
I like
keep
that.
at it, keep at it, keep at it. And if you believe that you're the best,
Yeah.
you're going to be you're going to win some tournaments. You're going to be a great player.
So throughout your run, you believed that you were the best.
Oh, I knew I was.
Yeah.
I did. I knew I had
You have
something
to.
special.
You have to.
Yeah.
It wasn't it was cocky in here.
Yeah.
In here.
I understand.
Not out here.
I understand.
That I'm not.
You're not known as a cocky personality or
No,
person in the
no.
game, no.
My husband, he always tells me, like my husband Dave, he said, no one would know what you do if I didn't tell them. you know, because he's like
Interesting.
so proud of me. My wife is an 8-time world champion, and she's in the Hall of Fame, and blah blah blah. You know, and I'm like,
But he loves you, though.
yeah,
He
he does.
loves you.
And
So.
I'm like, oh,
Right. I
gosh.
bet he says that about
Yeah.
like your favorite thing to cook or bake.
So,
You gotta try her tuna salad. It's like on another level.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I love it.
salad,
Right,
but
T?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're
Oh
so
She
my
has
funny.
to
God,
send
that's
us a secret recipe for the famous Carrabba sausage lentil soup.
Oh, it's good stuff. Copycat recipe. Good stuff.
Tony, you love to eat, don't you?
Um,
Are you
I
Italian?
don't eat to live. I
I'm
live
just
to eat.
I've gained 10 pounds. I've been with him and Gail for 2 days, and
Yeah.
I've gained
They've
10
been staying
pounds.
with us
So
at
you
our
know what
home,
I'm
so-
talking about,
Listen,
yeah.
He
that
got me lobster tails.
Listen,
Nice.
that figure doesn't keep itself.
Yeah.
He got me lobster
Right, you
tails.
gotta
with
work
like
on it.
This cream-filled thing with, oh my God.
That Bavarian cream.
Ugh.
I know all about it. I know all about it. He
Like
brings
when
It's
you
that
bite,
custard,
when you
custard.
bite
Custard.
into they, you know, moving to South Carolina has its real. I love it in South
I
Carolina.
love South Carolina. It's one of my favorite places, but please continue.
But the food, I miss the food here, and biting into a crunchy, like
Flaky.
the flaky. Oh my God! Like I'm sitting there and I'm like, I shouldn't do this, but you know,
Yeah,
It's so
awesome.
sinful.
oh,
awesome.
it
man.
was.
Like, is anyone watching Crunch?
I'm gonna try my best to bring some tomorrow, but no guarantees. No guarantees.
But I'm not going to be here tomorrow.
Why not?
That's okay.
I'm not going to be
I'll
here.
take your portion.
So right now, back
know,
back
you
on
know
the
what? I
on the
gotta-
television table, things
Really
are looking
thirsty.
sweet over here. With this out, looks like
Yeah.
it's basically, you know, just make the 7, 8's hanging in the side, and 9's right there. So, really impressive performance overall that we're able to witness today. And I'm just very impressed by the level of play across the board. This is a really big deal to have such great players in this pool room in Brooklyn, New York. And this is a great warm-up for the U.S. Open coming up as well. So there's a really great buzz and good energy here.
No question, no question. And this is a. Do you consider this a pro-am, or do you? What do you?
Pro event.
It's just a pro event.
Well,
you know?
yeah, this is a
Because,
step up for Tony. This is he's known for the Predator
Yeah.
Pro-Am Tour, but this is a separate independent event that Tony's put together.
I think he's shooting the 9
Yeah.
for the
That
win
9
here.
for the win.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh, Jundel
Wow, that
Mazong
was a
is
great-
officially out of the tournament.
He had a great performance,
Yeah.
and he played really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennis Urkel, he's,
Well, listen,
he's a
I-
little bit of a. I'm sorry, he's
No,
a
no,
little
go ahead.
he's a little bit of a jokester because when I was at the last tournament, Dennis was just practicing at one of the live stream tables, and I was playing on table 2, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like I hope I don't, you know, because I never looked at the board, you know, I haven't played in like 9 years, so I'm like, I just didn't even want to look at the board, and it's bar table tournament, you know, which
Right.
none of us were used to. And Dennis is sitting there, and I just walked over, and I went like this, and I went, oh, don't even tell me. And he goes, and he goes, he shakes his head like this, and he goes, you're on this table? And I said, yeah. And he goes, me too. And so I looked at him, and I said, well, I hope you're ready to lose.
Ooh.
And so he looks at him, so he starts laughing. So he runs out like really, you know, plays some really good shots, bank shots, you know, just really impressive. And then he looks at me and he goes, I'm not on this table. And then he walks away.
Yeah, I love that
That's
story.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I looked at him and I said, oh, I don't like you.
Yeah, Dennis is awesome, man. He is a little bit of a jokester. He has fun with it, and he's
And so is
great for the
Roberto
game.
Gomez. They're both jokesters.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He was actually joking around with Roberto Gomez because Roberto has a Superman kind of like sweatshirt jacket. It's sweat jacket kind of a thing. And he came over there and like unzipped him like as if he's Superman in a funny way. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Hold on 1 second here. We're going to take a quick break. Step back for 1 second. Please stand by.
So, you know, I'm always thanking the sponsors and stuff
Thankering?
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I know.
That's
I
a
know.
new
You can
word.
tell- I'm in a coma. I need lobster tail.
Damn you with that. I'm not even going to be here.
But you know, I'm always thinking thinking. Now I'm thinking. You see, I'm really in a coma.
You're always thinking.
Yeah. I'm always thanking
There
everyone,
we
right?
go.
But you know, there's this one person in particular that I've been thanking lately on Facebook. But since this person doesn't have a Facebook account, she's here now. So I want to give a special thank you to Irene Kim, who's right behind you.
All right.
She's been doing an immense amount of work, and she's like awesome.
Awesome.
It really is
That's
awesome.
great.
So we're very proud to have you as
Thank
part of the
you.
team, and also from the NAPL. So she's
Very good.
we're very lucky to have her. So
Awesome.
thank you for that. You do, Irene. And I need you to get a Facebook account so that when I write your name, you'll see that I'm giving you credit every time I'm into the team. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of her. The tour stop, especially. Well, she comes to every tour stop anyway. She's fighting against her husband for the Player of the Year.
Oh yeah.
Love it. Yeah, Irene's
I love
been
it.
Awesome.
Irene's been focused. But now, while we've been talking about social media, really quickly, since I have, we have both of you guys in the booth, both legends in the game, and Snooki's been around the game as a long time as well. I've known her since I was like 13 years old, so I've known Snooki for a long time. But Laurie John's a legend, and Tony, you've been one of my idols, and you came up really in the generation before me, and.
What are you talking
blurred
about?
across it. No, the reality is he came up a little bit before me.
Tony might.
He was one of my idols. So the reality is, since I have both of you here, what do you think about the effect, the social media effect on pool? Before, there was no opportunity for these pool players to have a voice, to be able to share, what's going on, their lives, their worlds, with their friends and family. And now, those walls have been broken down, and internationally you can share your life and what's been going on with you through social media. So what do you guys think about that effect on the pool world?
You go first. ladies first.
I'm liking it. I mean, obviously, I have. It's funny. I have. I apologize to anyone who I don't have. When they friend me and stuff like that, because I think I'm like at 5,000 and I can't have anyone else, which is stupid, but that's their rules. And so, but it's like, when I don't know, I think it brings a whole new level. I mean, I wish, like I look at YouTube and just all the stuff that's out there now, and all the videos on Facebook and stuff, and I think that has also, you were asking me before, Snooki, about, pool and what, maybe what is bringing it up for the kids, or the kids getting excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's watching all this stuff on YouTube, and it's all watching this stuff on Facebook, and keeping in touch with people. And I mean, my goodness, I have friends, and I really try to say, I really do. I take it. I look at all the birthdays that people list on. If it's listed that it's on your birthday, and I say happy birthday. I say happy birthday sometimes to 20 people in a day.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know, they're like all excited, and like, and then I get messages. Lori John, I hate to ask you this, but I was, and people try, and it's really difficult because people try and explain the rack to me on a message, and like, what would I do?
Yeah,
Like,
in like the situation.
That's tough. That's tough.
And the three is over here by the left, right.
It's
like-
only an inch
I'm like,
off, and
well, can you draw it out for me? But I just think the whole thing is, I think the whole thing is just great. And I, like my sister, like she saw that I was at Gotham City Billiards, and I said, don't be mad at me. I'm in New York right now. I was going to surprise you, because like, she's like, what do you mean you're in New York? And you didn't tell me, because they're all in New Jersey, my whole family. So I'm like, I was going to surprise you. I'm telling you. But
Yeah, it does ruin a lot of surprises.
So I mean, I love it. I think it's only good for pool until my biggest pet peeve is when these champions snivel on there. I got a bad roll. I did this. I did that. I did that. And I'm like, and I'm like, stop. A lot of times I'll just put stop. Stop the sniveling. Just you lost. You
Yeah.
lost. And as many bad rolls as you got good rolls, and you're going to get both. Deal with it. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Just how about you didn't play up to par, and the other person played well.
That's why I respect so much about Shane Van Boening after his recent loss
My favorite.
in the World Championships in Qatar. I mean, he gave total credit to
To the Qatari team.
to Cole
Okay.
for winning. Never said I got any bad rolls or anything. He shot great.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Yeah.
That really goes a long way. It shows about
He's such
the
a
class that
gentleman.
he has. Yeah.
Such
but
a
you know,
gentleman.
As
Such a
far
great
as
player.
the social media and everything, how about just internet? I grew up not having internet; it didn't even exist. So forget about Facebook. How about internet?
Yeah.
If this the day and age we live now,
Yeah.
if this would have, all this stuff would have been around when I was a kid, it wouldn't have taken me as long as it did to win a major tournament.
Really?
Because they have so many instructional videos. They got secrets there
Yeah.
that players would always take to their graves.
Yeah.
Wouldn't share with us. So you can find just about anything on YouTube when it comes to instruction.
The pool world has really opened up because there was a level of secrecy, and now basically everyone is like, all right, at this point we just can't hold it back. Right? There was a level of secrecy. People held back information. It's really true, right?
No question.
Yeah.
No question. Even something that's just more on the fun side, which is the trick shots.
Yeah.
I mean, I see these little kids on my Facebook page who are like 8 and 9. They're like doing double masse shots with the 2 jump shots.
unbelievable,
They're
yeah.
taking, like
2 shafts?
Yeah, 2 shafts, and they're jumping and doing masses and stuff. And I'm like, this kid's like 9. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're watching, studying, and learning how to do it. That's it's just the greatest. It's
Yeah.
just the greatest, and you don't have to be able to afford to buy. It's 9-9
No,
or
it's
8-8.
8-8. Unbelievable. That was a
Wow.
great run out too. But yeah, you don't have to be able to afford, to buy someone's DVD or to buy. You can study. Yeah, like you said, you can just go on YouTube and
Yeah.
study jump shots, and you can have tutorials and all that kind of stuff that's already out there, and just learn. So the only thing it can do is create more interest, and
Yeah.
if there's more interest in the game and there's more younger players
Yeah.
Yeah.
like this 23-year-old Francisco, or 18-year-olds or 9-year-old boys that
Yeah.
are just running out like the little boy. I wish I could remembered his name, but the little boy in Texas who was just
I saw the video actually
He
on
was
YouTube that was posted.
adorable.
Adorable. You're absolutely right. With swagger around the table.
Oh, I just loved him. He's like, doing this, and so Jason Shaw took his shaft and gave him his Mucci shaft. He said, try this.
As Laurie's talking,
little
Carlos
kid.
gets set to break nine games apiece.
8.
8 games.
Oh, excuse me, 8
Sorry,
games
that was
apiece.
my point.
8
That was
games
my
apiece.
fault.
And he made the one on the side with the cup break. And
He's
the
not going to
seven.
like
And
where
the
the
7.
cue ball is, though.
Right.
The cue ball's up on the end rail there, and he's looking at a little bit of distance to get to the 2, but the 3 is hanging. So, Tony, what would you say? Just try to make the 2, just roll it in like pocket speed, or what would how would you approach it?
Well, it's like I said earlier, it's Carlo Biado. So a lot of times these shots, it's like it's difficult for me because I don't play anymore. So this looks like the hardest shot on the planet for me. But when I'm playing every day, this feels like a hanger. It just literally feels like a hanger. And this guy plays every day.
Yeah.
So actually, when he shoots a shot like this and he misses it, it actually surprises me.
That makes sense to me because it's true. He's staying in competition. He's staying in battle, and your focus isn't quite there in that competitive, like as if you were a fighter preparing for a fight, and he's in fighting condition.
He's got the gloves up.
He's in the cage right now. Let's see how he handles his 2 ball.
I mean, if he decides to play it safe, what that tells me is that he's just not comfortable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. And look at that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And look at that.
Wow.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That I did not see happening.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what happens.
That
when
looks
you-
like.
yeah.
See, those are the shots that we were talking about before, where you mentally have to say, okay, I know I can make the 2 ball pass. The whatever ball was there.
6 ball, yeah.
6 ball. I know I can do it, but like mentally for me, if it. I really I struggle with that because that's what my shot looks like. I just hit the 2 right into the 6. I'm like,
Oh, I never miss it. No, I'm just kidding.
yours doesn't even come close to the bucket.
when I'm watching, when I'm
we're watching,
commentating, I never
yeah.
miss it.
We don't miss anything from back here, okay? We play pretty sporty back
Oh
here.
yeah.
I've never done any mistakes.
Oh, no,
Sitting
not
here.
at all. Not
right.
at all.
It's
we
all
won't flub.
perfection.
We don't flub a shot. We don't scratch on the brake.
Oh yeah.
We don't
And
miss
pressure,
cue.
what? I don't even
Pressure.
feel it.
What's pressure?
Yeah, but then leave that for the crock pot.
This is a huge game,
Yeah.
When it's
Yeah.
when you're on the hill, it's just it's such a mental, thing being on the hill first. It's just
Now, would you have left the cue ball there for the 3, or would you have left it on the bottom rail so that way you can hit the long rail, come back towards the middle of the table for the 4?
I like swinging
I mean,
it around.
I like swinging it.
I like swinging
yeah.
it because there's nothing else in the way over there.
I was going to say the other way. If I brought it to the short rail, see, he's going right through.
Wow,
I would have a tendency to just hit the 8-ball.
See, what I liked about leaving the cube on the bottom rail is if you leave in the bottom rail and you hit that long rail, you're going right towards that 4-ball, no matter what the speed.
That's true. That's true. And I think the thing is swing. I like swinging it around because now you got other pockets. If it's slowed down,
Right.
you still had that pocket. If it's sped up, you still have the other corner pocket. And if it all ended up past the side pocket, you still had that shot there.
And he
So-
doesn't have that bad of an angle here, actually.
No, he doesn't.
Right, he's okay here,
Yeah,
right?
he's got a perfect angle now to
Yeah.
get to the 6, which was a little tied up, but it has a pocket, obviously.
And then on this table, since it's a new cloth, you have to hit it with a little extra draw and a little extra spin to avoid the side pocket.
I found that out.
Yeah.
This is huge to get on the hill here first.
Yeah, it's 8 games apiece in a race to 10 games. The Gotham City Billiards 9-Ball Pro Classic. This is the first one here, and this is definitely going to be the first of many. This was definitely a success. 64 players.
I will be back.
Yeah, all right. Well, Lori John's going to be here. Tony's
be
going to
back.
be here. I'm going to be here. Snooki is going to be here.
Well, I have to say, on a different level of billiards, besides Gotham City Billiards Club being such a nice place and everything, but Kevin and Isabel are just wonderful people.
Amazing.
And,
They're
and
awesome
let
people.
me tell you,
Francisco goes
if
up
you
9-8.
can come here and order the lasagna,
Yeah.
Dear
It should be
God.
illegal. It should be illegal.
dear God, it's good. Like better than any Italian restaurant around here. Thank you, Isabel.
Yeah, you know, the food is good here, and it's made with love.
Oh, it sure
yeah.
is. Yeah, it's not like a normal.
You sound like a commercial.
I am a
it's
commercial.
delicious. See, now he's on the hill and he's breaking. Now this is huge. Francisco's now on the hill and he's breaking. So
Yeah,
that was a
kind
big
of
game.
a big edge right there.
Yeah.
Big game.
You know, and Carlo Biado has the Filipino contingent in his corner here. There are a lot of really strong Filipino players, and there's a real camaraderie around the Filipino players. They get together, and you know, he doesn't want to let his friends down. I really believe that. I think he really wants to win to feel as if he's helping the Filipinos do well in the event
Well,
progressively.
they're very united. Them.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
I
And
saw
then
that. I saw that in Texas. They were grouped together, rooting for each other. When Efren was playing, it was like the president of the United States was there. You know, it was,
Yeah.
it's just or the Prince Charles or whatever. It was just. It was like it was incredible, and I really admired that. I was sitting in the
Yeah.
stands, and I said
Yeah.
exactly what you said. I said, "Wow." I
Yeah.
said, what a nice thing.
Yeah.
To feel
They
that
really
they
support
feel
each
that
other.
support behind you.
Hey,
Hey,
he just did
and
the
he
cup
just
break.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He waited until he got on the hill before he decided to cup break. Unfortunately, he didn't get a roll, but
He
you
didn't
see how
get
the
a
ball
roll.
went straight in?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only thing with the cup break is you don't get to your cue ball isn't in
Yeah.
control. So
Yeah. Well, you know, Laura, to close out what we're talking about, that, you know, having a feeling of having a support system, just feeling like you have someone in your corner, like a boxer, you have a corner, your team, that you're in there fighting, but you could kind of go back to the corner and just say a few words to whatever, psychologically keep you in the game. And that's, you know, I think that's important. Or after the set, whatever, having that support system in that corner, I think
Yeah.
that's so big, and I do admire that as well. And that's one of the reasons why I like and I get along with a lot of the players, because it's all about love, it's all about positive energy, positive support, and they all root for each other. And I think, you know, the American players would continue to benefit the more they do that, like in Moscone Cup and when they travel around.
I was just going to say
Yeah.
I've always felt that when like a group of girls when we went over to like China, you know,
Yeah.
we did. I mean, I'm going to sit and I'm going to root for you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to sit and root for the United States because that's what we do.
That's right.
You know. Now, do you agree on that push? You like that push or what? Like, I mean, I
Tony
think that's a
doesn't
little.
like this
I
push.
think that's a little dangerous. I
Yeah.
I was a little surprised because I think Carlo can just
Cut
kill
it in.
this shot.
He's the favorite to make the shot,
He's like,
actually.
yeah.
He is on paper the favorite to make it. I mean, okay, he's going to bump the 2, but he's going to bump it, and he may come up with a shot.
I like better, you know, I would like the better if he he stopped the cue ball by where the 9 was. Makes it a little tougher.
Yeah, a little tougher.
You know,
Something.
Little
yeah.
s-
Like,
little
like
s-
I'm just, I
A
was
little
just, that was-
steeper.
like
think
if you
he-
make it, God bless you. you
unless
earned it, you know?
unless
Yeah.
this is
Wow,
he's
he's
giving it
what?
back.
I don't understand that at
Wow.
all. This makes no sense to me.
Maybe there's
Ooh.
an angle that I'm not seeing.
She's
turning
turning
her
her
head.
head.
like,
That's something
Right,
my wife Gail would do. That's
I don't,
something you would do.
I don't understand that right there. I'm a little confused myself. Well, now I'm still saying that Francisco's the favorite to make this ball. 'Cause
yeah,
gonna
but he
bump
can
to
also,
2.
but he can also, he has. I mean, obviously there's not a great safety, but I mean he can also plays. I mean, it's not.
I think he's
Just
looking to
shooting the
bank it
shot.
between the 6 and the 7, but I don't know
Yeah.
if he
I
has
don't
the angle to keep
understand
the
this.
cue ball away.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, if you're gonna shoot the shot, I think you're supposed to shoot the one in the pocket. That's what I think you're supposed to be trying to do here. But he's not looking
Yeah.
to do that at all.
Efren would bank this off the rail, off the 6 in the side, and leave the cue ball there for the 2.
Efren would back cut this to the right corner and end up right on the ball.
Well,
But you see, look
Francisco.
at that, look at
Let's
that,
see
look
what
at that,
Francisco.
look.
Oh.
Well,
Wow, that's very, very, very
Wow.
surprising. Now, did he
that's-
leave much? No, but he's back at the table. He's got to be happy about it. And now he's got 2 reel, 3 reel kick. I'm sorry, safe behind this little cluster here.
absolutely. And for the viewers at home that are a little confused at what happened, it's a call shot, call safe event. So in that situation, Francisco was calling a safe there, and he made the 1 ball. So now Carlo has the option, and he's gonna see if he could leave the safe here. As Snooki said, come around.
Oh, look
And
at
I don't
this.
know how he executed. I think he's gonna
I-
leak
Yeah,
it
he
out.
short on that one.
No, I don't like
Uh-oh.
that. He
Wow.
had so much room to hit that harder and get right behind the 5-6 somewhere if he wanted to.
All right.
That's
Again?
where I would have been. I don't miss anything
Again,
from back here.
we're
Yeah.
sitting. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't miss
Again.
anything from here. But I'm surprised he hit it that soft, though. I really am. But you
Maybe
know.
he was trying to get behind the 9.
Hey, guys.
I don't know. I like
even though-
2 or 3 balls better than that one.
Yeah. Even though he tried to knock me out yesterday, come on, let's give credit to Upstate Out for all he does, all right?
You know,
Okay.
hey, and
He
he's,
always
as
walks away when I
he
say
walks
that.
out of the room. How dare you try to knock someone out?
Talk about digging deep. Upstate Owls, he's a grinder. He stays digging deep. That's what he does.
I thought for
Ooh,
sure that was in.
no.
I thought for sure that was in.
Wow.
You look like
Well, Francisco looks frustrated here. I personally, the way I just see Carlo gaining the momentum here, and if he's able to secure this game and make it hill, I
And
would
then
think he
he's
has the
breaking.
momentum. He's breaking, and Francisco may not be liking it right now. He's in the electric chair.
No, he.
Oh,
do-
yeah.
Well, you know what? This is a pump of confidence for him. Twice in one rack, because the 1 ball which he didn't call, fell in, and now he fell short of trying to make that shot there.
You know, the
He
2
turned over
ball,
the
the 2
table.
ball. It's not necessarily it. You know, I'm watching. You can watch players, and when you watch them miss or when you watch them stroke in a ball, he didn't do that shot confidently.
No.
Even and not just because he missed. I mean, because you could get away. You could sometimes get away with making a ball poorly. But I think he jumped up a little bit. He didn't have the same follow through,
Yeah.
Right.
that same confident stroke, that good follow through. He didn't have it on that shot. And that's just, you know what, just nerves. You know, a little bit of nerves. You know, they're human. We're all human, so we feel that pressure.
Yeah.
You know, do or die shot there.
I don't know if he's gonna bypass a 6, run into it. I'm not sure. I can't tell.
A little.
I
Oh
like-
wow! I was gonna say a little bump, but no, he
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's
I
hard
think
to
he
tell
wanted.
the angle.
I
you
Yeah.
know?
think he wanted to bump
I
it a
think
little
so.
bit.
I think
because
he would've
he's-
liked the bump
doesn't-
there.
He's looking. Yeah, his face just kind of didn't
Yeah,
like that 100%.
I think he
Like,
would have liked
huh?
the bump
I
would
didn't
have
hit
helped.
that 6.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I'll be taking my tired wife home. She looked at me like, what?
She's like, huh?
Yeah, no, she gets tired at this time. You know that.
She's tired, as in she's exhausted, not tired like an old hag.
Yeah.
Well, she's been watching a lot of pool and working and helping and go. This event has been a lot of life, a lot of energy.
Wow.
And Carlo has a
That's a
renewed sense of
really-
energy and pep in his step as he's looking at
That's a nice
three,
shot.
3 balls to get out here and tie up the set here. 9 games apiece. Hill for an opportunity to continue on.
Well, for the first time today, Yeah. Should he make this 9, of course.
That was a great shot. Great shot
Yeah, he
on
hit
the
it great.
6 ball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
Go,
really
look
strong.
at
Carlo
that.
Biado.
Upstate Al's favorite matches. Hill
Hill.
This is the first Hill match of the day on the TV table,
It
ladies and
is.
gentlemen.
I told
The
you.
excitement is building here in Brooklyn, New York. All eyes are on the TV table, and you can't see it from the perspective at home right now, but there's a really strong crowd here. The pool room has been rocking and rolling. This is a really busy weekend here for Isabella and Kevin, and they're loving it. Everyone's having a great time. Everyone's eating really good food, and Lori John is here.
The lasagna.
Yeah.
We got you here with the
And you
food.
haven't tried the
We had to
meatballs yet,
we
right?
needed to
You
whip
haven't
out
tried her
the good
meatballs yet?
Italian food
Yeah,
to
they're
get
pretty
Lori
awesome, too.
John.
She has ziti with meatballs. Yeah.
Listen, she's
Yeah.
gonna go back
Tony's
to South.
working on getting you here tomorrow, Lori. He's talking about the
I gotta come back for the ziti and meatballs
Listen,
That's
now.
right.
She's gonna go back to South Carolina. She's gonna be asleep. She's gonna wake up, lasagna.
everyone at home, don't be asleep here. Wake up because it's Hill here on the TV table. Carlo Biado gets set to break. Let's see if he does the cut break. Crushes it.
What?
No cut break.
I
Crushes
can't
it.
believe he did that.
Oh, I'm surprised too.
I can't believe he did that.
Do you want to know? I think he was trying to control the cue ball. I'm telling you, on that cut
Yeah.
break,
Yeah.
on the cut break, so great.
Yeah,
Two balls
there's
go
a lot of
in,
movement with
two
the cue
balls
ball.
go in, or a ball goes in, but they both did not. Both times, none of them had shots. So, I think maybe he just thought.
And
You think sometimes maybe I'll power it a little bit more. Or I'll do something a little bit, and I'll make it this time.
And just for the viewers out there, this will be the last match live stream of the night. We will be back at 12 o'clock in the
Yes,
afternoon
that's
tomorrow. And we want to say thank you to everybody that's supporting Kevin and Gotham City Billiard Club. We want to personally thank Lori John Jones, Tony Robles, Jerry
Lori John
Tarantola,
who?
Lori
Oh,
John Hansen.
Oh,
That's just an old habit.
oh, I know.
Jerry Tarantola
Killing my husband.
and Diana Rojas, our Snooky from New York, the original Snooky.
The original
for
Snookster.
sitting in. Thanks, guys.
Snookster, listen.
That's what I love calling her, is the Snookster. Or Snookalicious.
Yeah, that's it. They
That's
have
my
so
other
many.
favorite. I call her
Snookalicious.
Snookalicious a lot
So
too.
many
You like that, Lori,
variations.
right?
That I like.
Yeah, Snookalicious,
That's
baby.
That's what Ginky
I
would
say
call
that
me.
when she's coming from back, like from behind, and to pump her up. I always say Snookalicious, baby.
He'll say that from clear across the
Right,
ballroom.
I yell it out.
He'll yell it out from from 30, 40 feet away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and it probably pumps you up.
It does. It
gives
does.
you-
You know why?
It takes that pressure off.
Ginky used to do it and do it across the room just
Yeah.
like he did it. So he would always do that to me, and now he does it, and it's just like I don't have a lot of people who call me this Snookalicious.
You're right.
And,
Yeah.
stuff. And I don't respond to everyone when
I'm
they
go-
do, but
I'm
they're
gonna-
like you guys. who
I'm
do
going to
it," and I'm
remember
like,
that, though. Next time.
What would you do here, Snooks? Would you
Well-
go for the 9 ball? And,
Can I say hell no? Oh, no, no. I'm playing
would you
safe.
play safe? Yeah, I
I'm
was thinking
playing-
the same thing.
Yeah.
How did I
No.
get I got my nickname from playing
Yeah.
safe.
Right.
So
There you
I'm playing safe.
Yeah.
I'm getting another shot at the table. I'm not gonna just give it away.
I just don't know if he has an easy safe. That's the
I
thing.
don't know.
You know what? The thing about it is that playing with this format, I can't play a two-way shot. If I could, I would play the 9.
Well, Troy just told me that the 1 ball has access to the pocket.
Oh, it does. Okay. Well, then I'm.
So maybe he's trying to figure out a way to play position on the 2. I don't know.
Yeah, but the 2 is fairly out in the open in front of that corner pocket. But if I had no shot on the 1, and I was able to play the two-way shot, then yes, I would try because I can duck that. I can duck that 1 in an unfavorable spot. Even if he can see it, I would, bump it to the 6 or something and let it just hang out there. The cue ball let loose. But I can't play a two-way shot here with this format, so he's gonna have to.
Yeah, my husband's not liking that. I already told you.
Oh, look, you can see it here.
He'd be playing the 5 right
Do you
now.
see?
He said.
That's what I mean. He can barely make the 1 ball, but he has such a small angle that he might not be able to get the cue ball past the 5. I think that's what he's struggling with here. If he's considering.
And that's difficult because
Yeah.
if you do make the 1 and you come with a great shot like that and you're hooked on the 2, it's just not even. It's
I'm
not worth it.
playing safe.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
what
worth
I'm
it.
doing. I'm playing safe.
Looks like Francisco's playing safe here too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh,
But he hit it hard.
Yeah, he
leaked
may not
out.
leak. He may not
Yeah.
like
It
that.
leaked
There may
out.
be a little leak there. Yeah.
Call the plumber. There's a leak.
Well, let's see from this
I'm playing
angle. It looks like
something.
he may only have he may have a hair or a sliver of it, and he may actually have to massage this a little bit. I'm not sure. We'll see.
I'm sorry, but I think he might have the whole ball.
Well, don't be sorry. I could be. I mean, I'm just doing the.
Yeah,
I'm calling it the best I
I'm
can
thinking,
from,
yeah.
from how I see it.
Looks like he's playing a safety though.
He's got a lot. Looks like he's got a
Yeah.
lot of the ball here.
Maybe not.
He might not be able to
Yeah.
hide it under the
Oh, he's
twos,
got
so
he's
trying
got
to hide
plenty
it
of the
behind
ball.
the 8. That's the
Well,
thing.
that was,
Ew.
it was a good shot, but
It
he
was a
leaked
tough
it.
shot.
He wanted to freeze him behind the 2 ball there.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to stop behind the 2. I knew he had to hit it perfect to
Tell
stop
you
in
what,
front of the 8.
I would
Oh,
do this-
really? You don't think he was going to be able to get in front behind the 2 ball there?
No, because the cloth is new. It's still sliding. He
Okay.
did a lot of inside spin,
I'm
but
playing
Alright.
this. I'm
came
playing
out.
the same safe he just did now and bring back the ball to the short rail. I'm doing the same thing, crossing the cue ball, leaving it up there. Now he's got 3 blockers. Well, basically 2, the 4 and 5, but I'm bringing that 1 ball right back down.
So Tony, if you shoot it the way Snooky's calling it, would you hit this with right hand English to hold or to kill the cue ball, or do you not need it?
No, you don't need it. I don't think so. but
I don't know which shot she's talking about though.
crossing it
Okay.
like this.
Oh.
Don't
Yeah,
act
that's
like you don't know what I'm talking about.
no, now I see what you're talking about. That's a tough shot because
And that's
you
a-
have to hit it fuller.
There's a big door there
Yeah.
now. This
Hey.
is the shot.
This isn't just a hat rack, okay?
Yeah.
I've been saying that to them the whole time.
Well, double hill here, and
This
and
is-
it looks
he's-
like
he's gonna
tension
make
is
this-
building here.
He's
Yeah.
going to make this 1 ball here. If he makes this, it's done. I think, but
She's going out on a limb.
if he makes the 1
Yeah.
and gets shot, how's this? If he
Carlos
makes the 1 and gets
Biado.
shot, if he gets position on the 2,
I mean, I think he could have afforded to let the cue ball run a little bit. He would have had more blockers with the 4 and 5.
and if he doesn't go for the shot, then there's nerves out there. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
He's going
Wow, he
yeah,
overcut it.
Wow.
And look,
That
I'm
I'm
surprised
Wow.
they didn't let him a shot.
Yeah,
Wow.
He's got an open shot.
Number
Wow.
1, I thought he made it when he shot it. I thought
Yeah,
he hit
so
it good.
did
Right, I thought he hit it good, and I'm pretty blown away right now because the table's wide open. And by missing
Mhm.
that shot, it looks to me as if he may have lost the set. It's early to say, but the table's pretty wide open from here.
You're going on experience. I got you.
Yeah, I was going to.
I mean, I don't want to call it from here.
Two great players.
I know.
You just lost. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be in the chair thinking, I just overcut the 1 ball. I
Right.
just lost. That's,
Yeah.
I'd be thinking, what am I going to have
Now,
to do?
if I get
No.
back up there again,
I would be
there's a
thinking.
roll.
I would
Yeah.
be thinking. May God have mercy on your soul if you let me back up to the table.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm thinking. you know.
Lori John is thinking about lasagna. No. Anyway, maybe have another slice of lasagna.
ziti with meatballs
Ziti.
now.
Oh, he put you onto the ziti and meatballs.
Yeah.
My
Try the
goodness.
ziti with meatballs.
I'm going to have a busy kitchen in a minute. All
Well,
right.
I'm actually about to have ziti and meatballs right now.
Listen, I might have to do this. Yeah.
I mean, you got to eat. Francisco has a great opportunity here. This is a big set in front of a big crowd here in Gotham City Billiards, Brooklyn, New York,
Well,
at
he
the
got a
Gotham City
little
Billiards
funny there.
Classic.
You know, it's interesting when you get a little funny how
Mhm.
how big that little funny
Yeah.
is.
Just by a hair. Yep.
Just by a
Just by a
little bit.
millimeter.
It makes it like yesterday.
Major
There were
difference.
certain shots that I'm thinking, wow, you know,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
almost a millimeter, you know, makes the difference between like extremely easy or having to do something a little extra that you don't really want to do.
Oh, it wasn't that bad though. It wasn't that bad.
And
It
here-
wasn't as bad
here's
as I thought it
Al
was.
showing, just some of the crowd that's been watching, and they were very appreciative. So I'm sure that you'll hear a nice round of applause after this this tight match. Really,
Yeah, I mean,
Look at that camera.
we have a lot
movement.
of
Look at that professionalism Upstate Al was showing.
Upstate Al's on the move. He's working, but the reality is we have, in my opinion, New York, the New York area, New York, New Jersey, tri-state area really has knowledgeable fans, very knowledgeable pool fans.
Yeah.
And I've always appreciated you know, how the fans come out and support. And usually the fans that come out, just like Lori, you know, unfortunately you lost yesterday, but you came out again today. You didn't have to do that. That was awesome. But a lot of people here, a lot of fans, they love the game. So they're going to come back.
Yeah.
They're going to follow it. They're going to follow the players. And I really appreciate that. And I'm proud to be part of the scene.
Al, can you put that angle back again? Because I think he might have gotten too straight on the 7. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow, Lori, what do you think of this?
Makes it a little funny.
Makes it
I mean,
interesting,
I,
doesn't it?
I
I
think
think
I think he's going to be okay.
I think he can make it. I think he can make it
It's a
past.
hanging.
He got pretty straight, but I think he can make
No,
it past the side.
I think he's going to be okay on this one.
Wow.
He's looking actually in the other corner.
You
though.
have to
I
because
wonder.
you're almost dead straight.
Yeah.
You had just enough
Yeah, yeah.
of an angle to beat the corner
He,
of the
I'm
side
trying to
pocket.
see. Yeah, he's looking. Okay,
Yeah.
good, nice.
Well, nice, but
Funny.
funny. A little like
No,
this
he's
is
good.
No,
He's good
He's
there.
perfect.
okay.
Good there.
He's good.
Nerves of steel there.
All right.
Nice.
And there goes the crowd.
That was a big win right
Hey,
there.
there's a
Huge.
love, There it goes.
Huge.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. That
Well,
was a
Laurie
great
John, thank you
match.
for
Thank
sitting
you.
down and doing some commentary with us and the JT, Snooki as always, and the Upstate Al for all that you do, buddy. Appreciate
Well, we
it.
should be
Yeah,
thanking
thank
you
you, Al.
for
Yeah.
joining us. So
No,
thank
well-
you, JT. Thank you, Tony. And thank you, Laurie John.
But before
Thanks for joining us.
I go, I know I told you guys a story, but I have to tell you, this man was salivating yesterday so badly when the tournament started
Yeah.
that he couldn't sit down. He was in front of the monitor going like this.
He's talking about
I
how
love it. I love it. Love it. But anyway, I want to thank all the tour sponsors, Predator
yeah.
Q's, Delta 13 Ozone Billiards, and everyone else involved. You know, Ron Mason, Gotham City Technologies, Rob Bowman, poolonthenet.com. Everyone that's involved.
Yep.
I mean, we couldn't have done it without you. So we're very proud to have this tournament and bring it to you guys. And obviously, you're a big part of the team. Upstate Out, all that you do is amazing.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys for
And-
sitting in. I'll tell you, that was a great match, and we couldn't have any better commentators than what you guys did on that job.
Yeah.
And especially when it goes hill, and you might be a little bit tired. It's a long day, and you guys just sat in there and hung in there, and you left your soda behind. You didn't even have a sip, Jerry T.
Yeah.
And Laurie John
They're-
didn't even
they're-
finish her water. I mean, you guys just kept going on, and that's what made it exciting for the viewership out there. So we do appreciate it, and I know you guys got your heart and soul in this game for many years.
Well, I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that I mention my wonderful wife, Gail, too. She's the brains behind the tour.
Yeah.
She's and so is Irene,
boss.
Kim, and Mandy. Yeah, the
She
boss.
is the
Yeah.
boss. Of
Yes,
course,
boss.
she's
Yeah,
the boss.
You know that now.
I know that.
Yeah, you know.
I know that.
Yeah.
Well,
But thank
folks-
you for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime. Folks, that's the last stream match of the night. We will be back at noon tomorrow. And believe me when I tell you, we're going to have some guest commentators in here. And Jerry T wants to say a word.
Real quick, I just want to say, officially, Lori John Hassan is back. She's back in the game. So if you guys didn't know, now you know.
There you go. You got the word from the Thunderbird, Jerry T. Well, folks, have a great night. We have to end this on that note.